It's a family show. Okay. Hello, welcome to Screen Source, Color Circuits, and the world's premiere show about television, news, movies, reviews, trailers, all of the above. My name is Dylan.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Jess.
I'm Scott.
I'm Jason.
What's your puppet's name?
And I'm Todd.
Todd? Did you just come up with that?
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Todd meet Purge.
Porg.
Purge.
Porg.
Purge the Porg.
Purge the porg.
I don't know if you guys have been hearing, but the Star Wars reviews have been coming in,
Oh, like the first reaction.
Yeah.
and it's the quote overwhelmingly positive, right?
I just saw it.
But also
They hate
all
the
of the
porgs,
actors
though.
hate the porgs.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have been seeing that too.
It's okay. Lots of people hate
All of the actors.
everybody.
The actors
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not fans.
It's all right. Everybody hates Ewoks too, so it's fine.
Mm,
These
I
are
mean-
worse than Ewoks.
the worst.
Yeah, probably.
Knowing nothing about their role in the film, I can say they're the worst part of this movie.
Is it Tom? His name's Tom, right?
Todd.
Todd, what are we going to be talking about today on Screen Source?
I don't have any fucking idea.
Todd. Todd.
We're
Just
trying
relax.
to keep this a family show.
Yeah.
Todd,
I know.
you seem like my drunk uncle. Is that kind of
Drunkle.
your persona?
Me and your drunk uncle. Go way back. I don't want to get into that.
Okay, all right.
We have a lot to cover
Yeah.
today.
We'll be
why
talking
don't we
about.
put Todd down for a nap.
We'll be talking about the Disney buying out a lot of 21st Century Fox. We'll be talking about Star Wars: The Last Jedi, which comes out this Thursday. We'll be talking about our favorite holiday films. We're actually going to be doing a game around that. And then 2017's best and worst films of the year and television. Yeah, mine happens to be a TV show.
Whoa.
Yeah,
My best is a TV show.
Sign of the times.
Ooh, it is a sign of the times. Yeah, honestly. Very cool. Do you guys have any warm holiday updates for me? Kevin?
What is that?
Kevin, give me your warmest holiday update.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Great. Let's go to our first topic.
No, I've got a warm. I want to explore this
He's got
more.
a warm.
I can update
holiday
you
update.
Yes,
All right.
that this table is treacherous and I bleed for you people.
Yes.
that's true. That's a warm holiday
Jessica
update.
is bleeding red for Christmas.
Guys, this sounds like we're talking about
I
her
will be-
period, but we are not.
Nope.
No, just from
No.
the legs.
I
I didn't
slammed
even
my
think of
knee
that.
into the table leg earlier today. It was not fun,
5 minutes ago.
but
she
I
smashed your knee.
sacrificed myself on the altar of this show. So
I run a school for acting, and we will be doing a holiday extravaganza camp coming up next week.
That's a warm holiday
so
update,
if
Kevin.
you have any children who you want to
Join
need
in the holiday
babysitting,
spirit.
and you want them to have a holiday fest,
fun.
send them to where I work.
Warm holiday update.
Okay, well, it sounds like he's got us covered on that front. So
Anything from
I
you,
do.
Scott? Nope. All right.
Oh, hot chocolate is also warm.
That's a warm
I
holiday,
had
yeah.
we and Kevin had some hot chocolate.
it was free.
We did. We had free
Where?
warm hot chocolate.
Shop and stroll.
Strap and stroll.
Oh,
Nice.
yeah.
It
Yeah,
was
it was
pretty
like
lame
40 degrees
overall,
outside,
but-
right? 35.
Yeah, it was very cold.
Chilly.
Yeah.
Was that the Old Town, right?
No, it's Nob Hill.
Not
No,
Mobile.
Bill.
Yeah.
For those of you that haven't tuned into the show, this is our potato. We will be playing a game of hot potato throughout the show. The hot potato goes towards the hottest thing somebody just said. So let's see. We'll start off with Jason, which is probably where it'll end up also. But, he gave me a warm holiday update when I asked for it.
Thank
so thank
you.
you. Yeah, you're welcome.
You did as I said. You get the potato.
We also have hot take glasses. What are the hot take glasses, Jess?
I hate this table.
That's a hot take. Hot take glasses. All right,
I
so
guess I don't understand the difference between the hot take glasses and the
Well,
hot potato.
The potato could be more. Oh, that was funny. That was insightful.
It was a
I
good
really
point,
like that
okay.
of view.
Those are kind of like ranty.
I think
glasses.
these are
Oh,
ranting.
okay, so that's for when you're ranting on something. That's for if you
yeah,
make a
we've been
good-
doing this for a good month. Where have you been?
Hey, we've been off for a while, so
That's true. It's true.
Yeah, we didn't
Yeah.
have one last week.
we've had a break, so give him a break.
Thank you,
All right.
Jessica.
He also took the break off 2 weeks ago.
Hey,
All right.
All right.
Kevin also he had a Kit Kat bar, and
What I'm trying to say
I
is-
said, Kevin, break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar.
That's
And he
right.
Gave me a piece of the Kit Kat bar.
That was for you.
You lose
you
the
can
potato.
give it back to yourself.
See, the potato could be given and taken away so swiftly.
All right. You're on mute, Scott.
Come on. Get it together. Keep him on mute.
I don't know who turned you. There you go.
God dang it.
Scott,
All right.
we want to hear your voice.
Let's do a check,
Scott.
check.
Hey, this is how I sound.
Yay.
I don't know
Hey.
who the fuck put me
Turned
on
off
mute,
your mic.
but I turned it off mute.
I believe it.
It's
Yeah.
a Christmas miracle. That
Christmas
we're hearing your
Todd
voice.
did it.
Fuck Christmas.
What are we here for? We're here for some news. So we have two major news topics today. The first one being Jessica,
No, that's Scott.
Scott.
Was it? Well,
All
yeah,
right,
I brought up the whole John Oliver, Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah, I
thing.
feel like all these kind of went together,
they
so
all
I just
intertwine.
Yes.
threw them into one.
I see. Yeah. So yeah, first of all, Time Person of the Year came out this week. Was it this week? And it is specifically the people who have spoken out about sexual abuse and workplace allegations and all that stuff. That became the Person of the Year.
Quote unquote, the silence breakers.
Right. Hashtag Me Too movement, that sort of thing. A lot of people have opinions on this online. Like, why? Because apparently Donald Trump thought he was going to be Person of the Year.
Well, I think they
or-
extended
Came
to
out
him
and said-
again.
He
No.
was every year. If you look at his Twitter, every year about the time they're going to pick Person of the Year, he's always like, "They asked me, but I said I didn't want to do it." Or
Right.
failing times is. It's like a consistent thing with him every year.
Right.
He has to make a comment
Oh.
about how he should be Person of the Year, but he's not going to be.
Right. And wasn't he Person of the Year last year?
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
I guess
Yes.
he was.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
And it said
Um,
the United or the Divided States of America was the little tagline. He was upset about that.
Because, I mean, historically, Hitler was once Time Person of the Year.
It's not about like who's the best person.
Right,
It's
yeah, it's
like,
not
Just
a
like who's
popularity.
the
Yeah.
The most
person that has the
influential
most,
person.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Who's got the hot potato that year?
It would be
have
Jason.
Yeah. I know a lot of people online were upset that Taylor Swift was included, not just included, but featured on the cover instead of a lot of other people. Especially just because she's not someone who generally speaks out publicly about
she did
a lot of
this year.
political issues. So I believe she deserves to be on the cover, even though she didn't publicly speak out about harassment and stuff. She did win a lawsuit against a DJ who had grabbed her butt during a
Right.
photo shoot,
Right.
and
Yep.
he sued her for getting him fired. She countersued him for $1 and won.
Really?
Yeah.
And it was like, if you can read the transcripts from court, and like it was really good. Like she just totally didn't back down. Like every time they're trying to like say, well, don't you think that maybe like your bodyguard should have done something if that had happened? And she'd be like, I'm not going to blame my bodyguards. I'm going to blame your client for being an asshole.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
grabbing my ass."
Right.
So
$1. That's saying a lot.
yeah,
Yeah,
it was to
it was
make a
the
statement. It wasn't
principle
for
of
money.
it, yeah.
Very cool.
So I think that it's justified to have her on the cover. I do think maybe it's a little bit like they want to sell more magazines.
Well, you
that
need to
have
have
Taylor Swift
need to
there.
have a recognizable
They
face.
also-
I think in addition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They also didn't have the woman who started the Me Too movement. I think she started in the 80s, actually.
She's not included? I thought
She's
she-
included, but she's not on the cover. And so that was controversial because it's like she's the one who kind of started all of this back some years ago, and they didn't have her on the cover. And people are saying it's because she's black and she's not a star and all these things. So I don't know.
I read today that the guy that Taylor Swift sued paid her the $1, and
It was a Sacagawea dollar coin.
he was trying to
Because
be
he is
smarmy
still the
about it.
douchey radio guy.
What point is he trying to make with that? I don't
He's
get
trying
it.
to-
yeah.
Those are cool. I like those.
I know. I'd be like, thanks.
It's
I'm
kind
gonna
of like a,
collect this.
huh,
Thanks.
I remember this.
This is going to be worth so much more.
That's funny.
in like 30
Yeah, that is
years.
more than $1. Yeah, maybe. All right. So what's our next one?
John Oliver, they recently had a live showing of the movie Wag the Dog with the director, Dustin Hoffman, who starred in the movie, and someone else involved. So they had a panel Q&A discussion that was led by John Oliver, and John Oliver proposed a question to Dustin Hoffman, kind of acknowledging there's an elephant in the room with your, Dustin Hoffman, your allegations of sexual misconduct with, in the with the climate as it is right now in the public, and also a part of that movie Wag the Dog was the whole conceit of it was there was a sexual scandal in the White House, and so they fabricated an entire war to kind of get people's attention off of this scandal. And so John Oliver, I mean, it wasn't out of the blue that John Oliver brought this up to Dustin Hoffman, but he did it in front of this live audience, and it got really tense, and people were tweeting videos from it. And Dustin was, being very, well, why, kind of the old arguments of, well, why did she wait 40 years to bring up these allegations, which is not a good argument against people who have had these things happen to them, and they are just now getting around to having the strength or the will to address it. Bring up that whole thing that happened to them is very brave, and it's very difficult to do. So the whole, well, she waited 40 years, why is she waiting now? Like, that's a bullshit. And John Oliver was very John Oliver about it, and he was like, oh, Dustin. Like, I didn't see any video, but I read like the back and forth, and you can just hear his sort of, because I really trust John Oliver as like a smart person, as someone who uses comedy to prove a point. And he put Dustin Hoffman to the coals on this one.
Yeah, I saw some of the video, and it's he called him out on a lot of his like, well, it was a different time back then, blah blah blah, and he's like, this to me doesn't feel like the sort of self-reflective attitude that would be appropriate in a situation like this. You're not looking at yourself and what you did wrong. You're just trying to justify it by like.
Right. Oh, everyone was doing it back then,
or whatever. We were all groping people.
Right.
What was the tone like in this video?
Like it got a little heated. Like not like they were seated and talking back and forth. It was like you could tell Dustin Hoffman was very like
defensive
and uncomfortable and not wanting to be talking about this in this venue. But yeah, I applaud John Oliver for going there and like not backing down.
Well, and he said like if I went home and I didn't bring it up, I would be really beating myself up about this. Like, why didn't you bring this up? So he was like, I have this opportunity, I'm going to take it.
Good for him.
Yeah.
I just realized in my head the John Oliver show, and then who took over the Daily Show?
Trevor
Noah. They're both English, right?
Trevor Noah is South African.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
They have similar accents though.
Right.
I always think that South African accents sound.
But regardless, I guess I'm just realizing that as far as like they're not like from what I see as being probably the biggest in this field, the biggest in this genre of comedy news. They're not American.
Yeah, and Samantha Bee also is originally from Canada. Like she's a U.S. citizen, but
awesome.
Just to have like an outside voice, a little bit, I think is important. And they're really.
And John Oliver is American.
He's a citizen.
He's a citizen, and he has been a citizen for quite some time. Like and he talks about that on a show. Like he was born in England, but he he makes fun of himself by saying like nobody in England has any idea who I
am. Which is weird.
That's awesome.
That's really funny.
Then I'll take the next one. Disney music exec. Don't remember his name, but he got charged and arrested within this last week of child sexual abuse.
I didn't hear about this.
Yeah. So Disney is just like, they've been in the news a lot for both like huge things that we're going to be talking about next, actually, and some pretty awful things too.
I always knew it was just a matter of time before like allegations would come against, because how could they not? They own
everything.
Like their hands are in everything. They're full of men. Like, why wouldn't they? Why haven't we been hearing about this?
Statistically, it's gonna go.
Yeah.
So this is the second in Disney as far as these sexual lawsuit allegations. This one though being 2 children, I guess,
involving like young
I don't know the ages,
stars, because I know that's a big deal about like the Disney Channel and making these young stars out of like music and stuff.
Yeah. Wow. And does anybody know about the Weinstein one?
He filed it, right?
It is no. There's a
Class action.
Yes, class action lawsuit. 6 women that are coming forward and want to get this
Finally
thing
doing
rolling.
something about it.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then,
or legally doing something.
Yeah, and then you mentioned, was it the LAPD? Is
Oh, the task force or whatever it is that they're creating. Yeah.
right. Yeah. So yeah, everything's moving forward now.
Yeah.
It feels like now we're actually like legal as far as like lawsuits and stuff. Things are actually being put into action, and it's not
Culturally,
just us talking
not
about
just,
it anymore.
Yeah.
I really, I don't really like Time as a magazine, but I thought that this was a smooth move on their part.
Smart choice.
Yeah, because like the week before when Trump was like, well, they asked me to do it, and they were like, no,
we didn't.
And then but I was like, when it comes to like, okay, well, like we do talk about Trump like every single day, and he does like consume so much of my mental energy that like you could make a good point that he should be, but like this was a nice like, no, this was definitely the right choice, and also a good slap to his ego. Hopefully, no, it's not, but.
Yeah, he will outlive us all.
It's actually really good. It's a really well written article too. It's actually really good. I enjoyed reading it. Yeah.
Very cool. So now on to bigger and better news. I don't know. Disney and Fox
Bigger
nearing a
news,
$60 billion deal. Apparently, it's done. And they'll potentially be announcing it on Wednesday. I don't, as far as I know, it's still in the ether. I don't know if we know for sure. But that's the news that I've been hearing
It's already pretty much done. And
What does this mean? Does this mean that there is no 20th Century Fox Studios
well, it's
anymore?
21st century. That's
21st,
not the best picture, but yeah, no. Disney is buying the rights to a lot of 21st Century Fox's shows. Right.
Yeah.
Properties. I think is the right word.
To the point where Fox is just going to focus on like live events, sports, ESPN, right?
Type of things.
Well, even though Disney owns ESPN.
Yeah, ESPN. Yeah, I just
but yeah, so
the rebranding.
They're taking their intellectual properties, their creative kind of, and putting it under the Disney Dome.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So this is there's a lot that's going to come from this.
Yeah. What are they gaining?
Well, they're gaining franchises. The biggest one people are talking about is the Marvel franchise.
Yeah.
Well, all the things that they don't own: Spider-Man, X-Men, whatever else.
Well,
is there.
Sony owns Spider-Man still.
Oh, okay.
But X-Men is owned by Fox, so they will have all the X-Men.
Right.
Which I am incredibly excited for.
And where did Deadpool fall in the whole?
That's in 21st Century Fox.
Okay.
So they should be buying that.
Okay.
Yes. And all the other properties that Fox owns. But there's also a lot of articles coming out about the negative ramifications for this, and that there's a single conglomerate that is going to own everything.
Yeah, that's
all properties.
bad.
And that doesn't.
Monopolies are not necessarily a good thing.
Right. Now, like, I will say that as far as what Disney's been putting out for the last couple of years since they engulfed Marvel and all those, I have enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Sure.
But yeah, that is something we should be worried about.
It's one voice. It is still one voice dominating the landscape.
Right.
And that is a bit scary, you know?
Yeah.
At least we still have Netflix, that can
For a
come out
while.
with- yeah.
Until net neutrality
Until
fucks
they-
that.
right,
So.
Well,
right.
and Disney tried to buy Netflix last year.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
And they're taking all their titles off Netflix to start their own streaming service.
Right.
Also, they've been trying to buy Hulu, I think, and I think they're. I don't know where that stands either.
Isn't that an NBC Universal thing?
Okay.
I think, because I know that they really pushed that on like NBC programming, because you're like, hey, watch old episodes of Friends, watch Saturday Night Live the day after, that sort of thing. But yeah, one of the articles I read was, yes, we haven't seen a lot of Disney-fication of things, but the second something that comes out that isn't Disney-fied, that tanks, they're like, well, now maybe we can fiddle with it.
This is why we do family-friendly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, I would argue that a lot of these things have been Disney-fied.
Yeah.
Like, I worry about Star Wars a lot.
Sure.
Yeah.
Especially after Force Awakens. That felt very, like, family-friendly.
And it was very safe. It was very by the books, no new ground.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm just like, the original Star Wars, like, they were they were weird. Like they got to go to some weird places that
Yeah, but
Disney
even-
is not gonna let them go to. I don't think.
Sure.
Even in the original trilogy, though, they kept bringing up old writing. So, again, I'm talking specifically about this Death Star, which they did do again, yes, in episode 7, but they did it in 6 and they did it in 4.
It's like enough with the Death Star, guys.
Yeah.
Like
So I mean, yeah, they did.
circular
I agree. They took a safe route. That could have been
ships.
J.J. Abrams' choice
It
too.
was definitely him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't know. He only knows how to copy other people's work. Not a
Spicy.
fan.
Hot take.
Oh.
Hot take.
Doob.
I started watching Force Awakens again last night to prepare for Last Jedi, and I think J.J. Abrams is a hack. And I think that
Damn.
movie
Whoa.
is not good.
He has all the things. He
Anytime
has the
somebody-
potato in the glasses.
Anytime somebody insults
the
Star
pork.
Wars, you get a potato.
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Oh man,
Anyway,
So
this
boring.
is the
Wow.
worst television and movie news show of all time. We all hate Star. Actually, I love Star Wars.
Sad.
no, I
love
love
Star
Star Wars.
Wars.
I just don't like what they did with Force Awakens, and I'm worried about the future of the franchise with Disney being in charge.
Yeah.
Star Chores, because it's a chore to watch.
You're really digging deep there, aren't you?
Although I do want to see a TV show called Star Chores.
Star Chores.
I would watch that.
Just like them
Nerdist
doing
Channel had a,
remedial chores around the house.
Well, actually, that's not far from.
Vacuuming.
That's
On
not
the
far from
morning of
this sketch show
immediately
that
realized
Nerdist
you
used
had
to
to take
have,
out
where
the
they would
trash.
have. It was two. It was two guys that would like
Sweep.
sweep. They're
Janitors.
janitors.
Janitors,
Yeah, they were
yeah.
janitors. Thank you.
What are
Uh,
the little people called that do the sweeping? and
You
cleaning?
said-
I don't-
you said little people. I did not
the
say that.
small little urchins that do my bidding.
Nope, I never. Nope, I used to do that myself. That was my first job. But yeah, a Nerdist had a show, like a sketch show that was janitor, like Star Wars, and there was just them like working for Vader, and they're like, oh my god! Every time I walk by, they're like, oh,
Right.
was
Well,
pathetic.
it's like the conversation in what I think it was Clerks, where they're talking about all the construction workers that died on the Death Star.
yeah.
Like you never hear about those people. They were just contractors. You know, they weren't evil. They were just trying to do a job.
Right. So I think the big takeaway is that this is potentially scary,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could be.
Especially knowing like that Disney is not afraid to use its power to do some shady stuff. We were
Yeah.
just talking about a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
with the LA Times.
Right.
And if they own all the properties, all the big movies that are coming out, then
There won't be dissenting voices.
Wield a lot
to
of power.
Yeah.
This is this is just a big thing in our society or in our country as a whole, is that obviously the rich are getting richer.
Yep.
So there was a tax bill that was passed last week that like just allows even more money to be filtered up to the ultra wealthy. And this, and I was watching or reading about how while it is still illegal to have a monopoly, what these companies do is they want to get it down so that you have what's called like an oligopoly or something, where it's basically like two companies
Copoly.
or
They're
two giant
giant,
corporations
yeah.
that just agree like, well, we're not a monopoly. Look, there's two of us, but they just like agree like, well, we're just gonna continue to screw over like
Everyone.
like
Right,
and,
right.
Like
We can't be
gouge
one big thing,
customers.
so we'll be two
Yeah,
slightly
we
smaller.
got
there's, like-
Comcast and Disney now.
There are like there are agreements amongst these like giant corporations to like, and it's happening right now in the all over in the airline industry. There's like 5 or 6 giant airlines left, where 10 years
Yeah,
ago there
yeah.
were 20, and
Right.
yeah,
And then the whole net neutrality argument, where net neutrality
Comcast.
is probably going away.
Yeah.
Um,
Comcast is going to
and-
get even more popular,
Yeah.
which
Right.
is
Yeah.
extra scary.
And Disney strong arming these theaters to pay 65% of their profits
Right.
towards their earnings for Star Wars, which who knows if they're going to continue with that trend and do that for all their films. I didn't realize that some theaters actually couldn't afford to play it, so some theaters had to back out on it. I imagine not the what's one of the big ones,
Cinemark.
Cinemark, yeah,
but
Cinemark
it's a
and
big company
Regal
that
and
owns,
AMC.
like, yeah.
They're not the ones that are having issues or problems because they're
It's the smaller
pay up,
ones.
but
you
yeah.
know, like the little indie theaters that
yeah.
aren't going to
So
be
this,
able to
this
afford
is
it.
this is a tough time.
But you know,
Yeah.
small businesses are great. Everybody go support
Support
small
the small
businesses.
They are.
Yeah.
They really are, guys.
Yeah.
You really should. And we have some great ones here in New Mexico. Like a lot.
Humble Coffee,
Uh-huh.
flying star. Oh God.
Zendo.
It's
coffee,
right across
satellite.
the street. It's literally right across the street from Starbucks.
But Starbucks technically closer to where we are right
It
now.
is closer.
And this is why we will fail because of Scott's laziness.
I'm part of Big Coffee, y'all.
No,
Big
I know.
coffee.
I'm in the
I have a
pocket of
problem.
Big Coffee,
So am I.
and it
It's okay.
smells delicious.
But I do want to see some Marvel crossover finally. I'm
Well,
Sure, there's some
and
fun that's gonna-
well,
Yeah,
that's
come
that's
from
the
this.
stuff that they will feed us, so we'll be okay with
yes,
it.
yes.
Be like, hey, it's okay, because
And I'm gonna eat it right up.
yeah,
Yeah.
like fucking give me
Yeah,
more.
X-Men is one of my
Give
favorite
me an
things.
X-Men ride
Give you
at
that sugar.
Disneyland. Yeah,
That'd be great.
Yeah,
I'd
yeah.
ride that.
Is
but
there?
it's bad, but that'll be good.
It's bad.
I
but
don't
Yeah.
think the Marvel universe can. I don't think that they can absorb the X-Men franchise. Am I wrong about that? I think that it's. I know that they will try to, but the X-Men.
Oh, you
is
think they're gonna
so
try and fail?
expansive in and of itself
Oh.
that it's too much.
Isn't that amazing though?
a
Like I
lot.
was thinking about that the other day. Like the X-Men is just one story that they have, and X-Men is so
I
big that
appreciate
it's
it being
basically
its own
Right.
universe.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
basically its own universe.
Yeah.
Right.
I think they should keep it its own separate thing, and with the occasional like
Crossover.
crossover of a character popping up and
I mean, it's
Yeah.
already in Infinity War is going to be nuts. There's
gosh.
so many.
There's too
intersecting-
many
There's
people
gonna
in
be-
Infinity War.
I think there's like
half the
14
population of the
main
planet
characters.
is going to be
in
superheroes.
Infinity War.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, how are they going to do this?
Well, that
I'm
is
not-
kind of the premise for X-Men, right?
can't
There's a
wrap
lot of
my brain
mutants.
around it.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And
Like
some
2
have
minutes
cool
of
suits
time.
and fight crime. Others are just trying to get through life.
Yeah, and did you hear Chris Evans saying that he wants there to be a Torch Man? Is that the X-Men character? Torch guy?
Torch, the Human
Torch
Torch.
dude.
Human Torch from
Torch dude.
Fantastic
which he
Four.
played
Torch
in
dude.
the-
Oh, he's gonna play both.
No, he wants there to be some sort of crossover.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the film
Where
he's
they
looking
meet
forward
up.
to.
Captain America
Who were the
versus
other-
the
Just
Human
they have
Torch.
some coffee.
Who were the other final or not, Fantastic Four?
Yeah.
Who were the other ones?
Mr.
Invisible Woman.
Fantastic.
The Thing.
Yeah, but who were the actors that played them? Do we know?
Jessica.
Well, there have been a few
Alba?
because they tried to reboot
Jessica
it
Alba,
with
that's right.
Oh, and they had that.
Yeah,
reboot.
that,
Yeah.
well, that one
That
doesn't count.
tanked.
what Chickless? He was the thing, right?
Chickless
Yeah.
was the
Michael
thing.
B. Jordan.
So it's just the guy
No,
that
that was
nobody
the new one.
remembers.
Yeah.
Just the tall, stretchy man that nobody.
I don't know his name, but I know who
Mr.
he is.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
That's what I was
that was
thinking of
his
when you
name.
said
No,
Stretch
but
It.
the the
Yeah.
actor. What was
Oh.
just I don't know.
Mr. Incredible? Is that the word?
No.
Oh, that's another stretchy guy.
No, that's different.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to talk about some news, et cetera, and again, some more Marvel news. I'll start in the bottom left corner there. Cinematic Universe. Kevin Feige, the guy that's running the show over at Marvel, is saying that with Avengers 4 coming down the line, that is going to demarcate, I don't know if that's a word, but the change in the franchise, and that after that there's going to be 20 more movies slated. He said the word number 20 more movies slated, and it is going to be very, very different from what we've been seeing prior to that.
They're
does that
saying that
mean?
this is an actual end to this kind of storyline.
What it means is maybe some people dying in Avengers 4.
Which
could
one's
mean-
coming up?
Avengers 4.
Infinity War is
Infinity
the
War is
fourth
coming.
So
Avengers.
first there'll be Black Panther early next year,
Uh-huh,
and then
February.
in the summer is Infinity War Part 1.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
who's dying?
Oh, I see.
Who do we think's dying? We should take bets.
I think Iron Man.
I think Iron Man's
think-
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Iron
I'll,
Man's
Okay.
dead.
I'll get
Captain
Robert Downey
America?
Jr. wants out.
Captain
of that.
America dying
Yeah,
too?
sure.
No.
Those are the two
No,
big
I
ones.
feel like
You guys are
they
killing off the
need
two big
one
ones.
of the big people to
Yeah.
like carry the.
But he did
baton
say
a little
that
bit.
he didn't want to do it, right? Chris Evans was like, kind of like said he was almost done, but then like took it back. But who knows if that was Disney strong arming him and being
Right.
like,
Yeah.
Oh, and this also reminds me that
I think Black, what's her name? Black Widow,
Widow.
is dead.
yeah, one of the
Probably.
only female
The only
characters.
female
Yeah.
character that
Well,
they
let's
go
just
on.
like, well, there's
Yeah.
just one of them.
Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
we were
Scarlet
just talking about this before. I read an article recently that said arguably the DCEU is more is more successful than the MCU because their first 5 movies, if you compare the both, DCEU is more profitable, and their DCEU is more forward thinking because they have like 2 female leads, whereas the MCU has 0.
Who's the other female lead?
It's Wonder Woman and
Captain.
no, the girl from
that's
Justice
Captain
League.
Marvel is Marvel.
No. who did we decide it was, Bond?
Oh,
Margot Robbie.
Suicide
Oh,
Squad. starred Margot
She-
Robbie.
she's
as
the lead in that
Harley
movie.
Quinn,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, they are because she has 2 new solo films coming out.
I mean, but DC already had like the recognition and like they had a lot of movies in the past, like Batman and Superman movies. It was already like a known property. Marvel kind of had to build that recognition.
Right. And Marvel
from the ground
created
up.
the model that DC is now following.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Right.
They started way late.
Yeah.
In the game, but it is interesting to.
So
look at it from
what you were
that
saying, like in DC, they're like, we need to be more like Marvel, like we need to make more like Marvel.
Well, actually, they're
movies, or...
backing out of the extended universe theme now. Apparently, at least we talked about this a couple months ago for Screen Source. We're on episode 16 today, by the way, and that they said they kind of want to. They want to change it so maybe it's just more solo films, and they don't want to do this like big franchise thingy anymore with all this crossover. I guess, and Justice League is doing very poorly, so they might even lose money on the movie.
That's crazy.
Isn't that
It made,
crazy?
like
Yeah.
how many $100 million at
Yeah.
the box office?
But that's how much it costs.
Yeah. Yikes.
Yeah. Does anybody know any of the other ones?
I
Otherwise,
do
No,
know.
go ahead.
Oh, the
Take it.
So J.K. Rowling released a statement about the casting of Johnny Depp.
And the director did.
And the director did earlier. And then J.K. Rowling. There's been a lot of pushback because obviously with the situation with Johnny Depp and his ex-wife Amber Heard and the allegations, I guess we would call it, of physical abuse, although there is like physical evidence, photos,
it's a mucky
audio.
story.
I don't think we could really you can't really deny it.
Sure.
Like it's there. We know it. And so it was very disappointing for a lot of fans, myself included, to hear J.K. Rowling come out in support of Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
She couldn't. It's clear. It seemed to me that this wasn't something that she wanted to do. It was more like, I bet the studio was like, "Hey, we really need you."
This was a
to come
political
out.
move.
It was a political move, and
Especially
it was
the
not
way
a
it was written.
good look for J.K. Rowling, especially as someone whose work is often very political. I mean, Harry Potter, like they're for children technically, but like it has some very strong political positions, and
She's always been a huge advocate.
Yeah,
and she talks a lot about that a lot. And yeah, this was surprising to me.
Very
it's
surprising.
disappointing for her to not just like make the statement, but to then like just be so like, she said she's happy, like she's thrilled to have Johnny Depp aboard,
And that's almost exactly what the director said too. He's very happy to have him. He's
he
like
said
everything
some
that
other
we've
stuff
everything that we've known, or how we know him personally. He seems like a great guy. So those are from the words of the director. But yeah, the way it was written, if you guys read the statement, it's pretty short, but it sounded very political. Yeah.
Which then, just real quick, going back to the John Oliver, Dustin Hoffman thing, when Dustin Hoffman was saying like, that's not what I'm like. That's not reflective of who I am. Well, it's like, well, it was reflective of who you were. So that's not an excuse. So maybe Johnny Depp is a great person to hang around with sometimes. Maybe he's a very dedicated actor, but that doesn't change the fact that he's also someone who beat up his wife.
Right. There will be the stories of Johnny Depp dressed up as Captain Jack Sparrow in Witwoud Children's Hospital.
Yeah,
and
right.
he has done that.
It doesn't invalidate those things, but you got to take both of those.
Right.
Right.
He's the same
It's
person
like Christian
that did
Bale, how he goes crazy on camera, and then like, he also goes to hospitals and as Batman, and you can
Talks
have
gravelly
multiple
to children.
sides. Yeah, you can have multiple sides to you, but that doesn't mean that what you did is any less important.
Exactly.
Those words have been uttered a lot, though. That is not reflective of of my personality. David Cross said the same thing recently too. When what's her name? That very famous Asian actress. She's not super famous, actually. She's probably more of a B actor, but she hangs around Michael Sarah a lot.
I forget her name.
Yeah, but they did that movie together. Yeah, and she's like, he's incredibly racist, calling out David Cross pretty publicly on Twitter. And he's like, that's not reflective of my personality. I would never do that kind of thing. But if I did, sorry.
You did.
Right.
So what does that matter?
Yeah.
I don't know. We've talked about this before. I feel like to continue to give a platform and to support people who we know to be abusers, it's not a good look, and it's not something that, like, we can talk about all these allegations all day, and we do, but like the real change is going to come from people taking a stand and saying like, hey, this guy has done some fucked up shit, and we're not going to have him be the title character in our movie.
Right.
Sure.
So I'm very disappointed in J.K. Rowling and in
to the point
this
where
franchise.
maybe you would not want to see this movie, or
I'm watching it.
Maybe. I mean, you got to put your money where your mouth is.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right.
And
It's true.
if I'm gonna condemn them for supporting Johnny Depp, I can't go and pay money to go see the movie in the theater. So
Sure.
Just illegally download it, Kevin. Then
I-
it'll
Yeah.
really give it to him.
Torrents are the
Really give
great
it to 'em.
equalizer.
Really give
It's
it to him.
you know.
Does anybody want to take the next one or know any of the
I'll
ones?
take the next one.
Sure.
Ryan, what's his name?
Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds and Pikachu announced their engagement.
what about Blake Live?
Ryan Reynolds is
Pikachu's
has been
cuter.
casted as the voice of Pikachu in the upcoming movie
It's a
Detective Pikachu.
Live action, so it's
Live
like a
action.
computer generated
This is like
Pikachu, I
motion
guess.
capture? Is
Yeah,
that-
it's gonna be
Yeah.
motion captured. It's gonna be similar to that of
So stupid.
what's the movie that came out that had I can't remember, but anyways, yes, that he is the voice, and this is a weird choice, I think. I get it though because he's obviously has a personality
He's the voice
behind
of Pikachu.
He's the voice of Pikachu.
So-
he is Pikachu.
So
Detective Pikachu. Sorry,
What?
Detective Pikachu
God,
is a
fucking
video
nerds.
game
Is it
that came out.
Pikachu? Hold on. Are you saying Pikachu?
Pikachu.
I thought you
Pika.
said Pikachu.
No, it's
Pika.
not Pick.
Okay,
Pika.
that really threw me.
So-
I heard Pikachu.
Not Pika.
up until
Pika.
now, the Pokemon basically just say their names, right? Like Pika, Pika, Pikachu.
Well, you say up until now, but like it was a year or two ago, a video game came out called Detective Pikachu. It was a Japan exclusive game, and yeah, they talked.
So was it like she came in on a Saturday? Her name was
I didn't
Thursday.
play the game,
Hey,
but-
Toots. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm a
Pikachu-
detective.
Pikachu says toots, yes.
Oh God.
Let me see them gams. I don't know. He's also a
No, what's
womanizer.
interesting is that in oh god, what was Ryan Reynolds' last big
Deadpool?
Deadpool? Yeah, in Deadpool, you actually don't see a lot of his face.
True.
And so but he is behind this mask, and so
Mhm.
I don't know. I think this won't be a big leap for him as far as acting as and probably can do that. What's it called? Mocap.
Right.
Yeah,
where
yeah.
the unitard or whatever with the ping pong balls on
Yeah,
it.
yeah. So, but this isn't the voice I pictured in my head for somebody that would be playing Pikachu.
No, I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, it's just been announced, right?
Just
so
been
they still have
announced.
to make it. So
Yes.
I have
I'm
no
not.
thoughts
I'm
on
not
this
enthused.
whatsoever.
I'm gonna say stupid. Stupid.
I swear to God, you're saying Pikachu.
Peck at you.
Pikachu.
peck
I'm
at you.
I'm
Pikachu.
That's
Pikachu.
all I have to say.
Pikachu.
Anyone want to take another one? Take a stab.
Ray is not going to be. I forget her name.
Daisy
Ridley
Daisy Ridley.
is not
Ray.
going to be in any more Star Wars after Episode 9. Correct.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep. She has announced
She's
that
ending
she's
her-
done at the end of this trilogy.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, well, all right.
Yeah.
They'll kill
Way to
her
bow
off.
out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now the one with Quentin Tarantino, Patrick Stewart, J.J. Abrams.
You got this.
Quentin Tarantino
Mm-hmm.
has said he wanted to possibly make a Star Trek movie, and Patrick Stewart said he would be interested in being Picard again, but only if it was Quentin's movie.
As
and
far
don't
as
know
I
what-
understand, Patrick Stewart made the announcement that Quentin Tarantino is the director of the new film.
Okay.
That's what I've heard. Is that wrong?
I haven't read. It seems like I was very confused. And granted, I haven't done a ton of in-depth research, but it started off as like Quentin Tarantino might be interested in doing Star Trek, and then it seemed to be like he's at least writing it with J.J. Abrams and potentially directing, and it seemed to like jump very quickly from like he's interested to like
It's happening.
It's happening.
Yeah.
So I'm unsure. Also, because Quentin Tarantino has said he only wants to make 10 movies total, and his next movie, it will be his 9th. So this would be his 10th, and I can't imagine he would want to
Do a
end his career as a director making a Star Trek
Well,
movie.
and Quentin's
Yeah.
already his newest film that he already has written was being he was looking for a new house for it, right? Because he had only
Away
ever
from
done it
Miramax,
through
yeah,
Miramax,
yeah.
and so we talked about this last couple of weeks. He's looking for a new house to sell to produce his movie. Quentin Tarantino pitched a Star Trek films to J.J. Abrams. J.J. Abrams being the producer.
Okay.
They met for hours in a writer's room, and he wants it to be a rated R film.
Yeah, I read that.
And Paramount and Abrams agreed to that condition. And so, yeah,
It seems
maybe
like they're in the initial stages. It hasn't been. It's not like necessarily. There's a lot of stuff that has to happen in
So
order
they're
to
in
make
talks.
this a reality.
Yeah.
right. This could end at any day.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, really weird.
Interesting.
It's a weird combination of.
I like it.
Yeah.
Do you guys like? I like the
think it'll
idea of
inject
it
some
having a different, injecting a
coolness
different
into
artistic
it.
vision
Yeah.
because Quentin, I've heard many people say this, is maybe one of the best directors of our time.
Certainly one of the most interesting.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
And so
He's
Yeah.
weird.
having a
but in
different
good
point
way.
of view for a change for these Star Trek films could be fun.
Lot more monologues.
Yeah. Right.
And about like old 70s, 80s properties and stuff.
Because
I'm just thinking the beginning of Reservoir Dogs with just like
because of the
Starfleet
new
people.
Star Trek films, they have felt a little by the book as far as the story and
J.J.
like
Abrams.
probably because of J.J. Abrams.
Ooh, yep.
Did he write all of them?
The first
First
two,
two.
not
Okay.
the third one.
Okay.
Okay.
Interesting. All right, and lastly, we have John Hamm in the running for Batman.
Mad Batman.
Mad Batman.
Mad Batman. yeah.
John Hammman.
I thought also like Jake Gyllenhaal was like close to the wire on
They
that
talked
too.
about we talked about that a couple weeks ago, and he was in talks. And John Hamm has been talking to the director or producer, can't remember, but he's really gunning for it. Apparently, he wants this job.
As far as like a Bruce Wayne, I definitely see John Hamm as
Oh, yes.
absolutely. I mean, that's a
Yeah.
no-brainer.
I think that's kind of what you most need is him to be a good Bruce Wayne because Batman, they're all the same.
Right.
Right.
You know,
They all have
growling.
that
I
growling
beg to
voice.
differ.
Yeah.
I was a unique Batman.
And that's what I think we were missing with the Christian Bale version a little bit is he was such a nothing
kind of a dull
Bruce.
dud.
Bruce Wayne. Yeah, Bruce Wayne wasn't very interesting as a character.
But the Batman movies have always been sort of about the villains.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So it's
Yeah.
like
Well, the
Batman is
DC
kind of a blank
universe.
slate, and then
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, because I think Christian Bale is a great actor, but like there was something like sort of like
Weird about
bland
it.
about his Batman, and I mean, I would say about almost all the Batman, save maybe Clooney. Because he was like, I'm gonna put nipples on my bats.
Wow,
Spice this up a
yeah.
little
Sexy
bit.
Batman.
I
would
was gonna
actually
do the
even-
tassels, but he got rid
That's
of
the
it.
more interesting thing that
I don't think it was
happened to
Clooney's decision to put.
Batman. No, it was. It was.
Oh, okay. I didn't
Yeah.
hear.
I-
I thought it was just Joel Schumacher and
He
how he likes to
knew-
put nipples in everything.
Clooney knew like how bad the movie was. And he
My toilet
insisted
needs
on having
nipples.
Yeah.
His like inspiration was the like the 1960s.
Yeah.
Adam West.
Adam West
Adam
Batman.
West had the most personality.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Absolutely.
Well, over at Nerdist News, they've made some good points in that John Hamm has a good mouth, and you need a good mouth for a good Batman.
Yeah.
And I like
yeah.
that. And they also said, and I think a lot of us could agree, he has a certain comedy back. He's a huge comedy lover.
I would say he's funnier than Jake Gyllenhaal.
He's super
Yeah.
funny,
Oh, yeah.
and so maybe that'll shine through too a little bit.
Yeah.
It definitely has more personality.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
yeah.
the idea of like a slightly older Batman,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I do too.
rather than. And I like Jake Gyllenhaal. I think he's a really good
Yeah.
actor.
Yeah.
I think they
Great.
both would be good castings.
Yep. Either one.
But he
would be
just
good.
has a Batman build and a
persona.
Batman
Sure.
persona.
He's kind of like he'd need to bulk up. I think.
Yeah.
For the.
I'm
role.
sure
Big
he
man.
would.
This, so is he going to take over like for Ben Affleck's Batman, or is there going to be another reboot?
I think it'll
Question,
probably
I
be
don't
another.
know.
No, he wants it to
Yeah.
be for the next Batman film. That's
So
that's
it's-
what he's aiming for.
So it's just going to be instead of Ben Affleck, now we have John Hamm as Batman.
That's what we're
But
hoping
it'll be
for.
a solo
I guess that
movie.
makes a little bit more sense for John Hamm and not Gyllenhaal because
Yeah.
it's a slightly easier.
Transition.
Visually,
They sort of
yeah.
look a little bit more alike, I guess.
They do,
you
yeah.
would say.
Yeah, Gyllenhaal's. I don't know. I just think of him in Nightcrawler. He's this creepy little guy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Make a good villain.
He
Good
would make a
Batman.
great
Yeah,
villain.
like a
Yeah.
Riddler
Riddler or
sort of thing. Yeah.
That'd be fun. Good call.
I think it just depends on if they bring someone new in to direct and not Zack Snyder again. Just,
Yeah.
Why did we keep giving that guy chance
Just
after
stop
chance
it,
after
Snyder.
chance?
He's
That's
just done.
that's the reason why I'm like sitting here like John Hamm. Like I'd rather you do something else other than
Something
like
good?
Why are you trying to
Right.
get into this franchise that's like
Right.
Who doesn't want to be Batman, though? Really,
Right.
you know?
Well,
Of course, he'd have a better
I mean,
time over
if
at
it was
the MC
Nolan
universe.
Batman, then maybe,
Yeah.
because Nolan, I like the Nolan films.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess Nolan's done with Batman. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not
he's
coming back.
done it.
Yeah.
He,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
I forget about those sometimes. And I don't think they're unforgettable. I think they're great films.
yeah,
They're
I like
just
them
they're
all.
their own separate
It
thing.
just
Yeah.
felt so isolated.
They weren't
Yeah.
trying to
Yeah.
be a part of a franchise. They're just like, this is my vision of Batman. Leave it alone.
It's definitely
That's it.
the best Batmans.
Right.
The
agree.
Nolan Batman.
I
Right,
love
right.
the Tim Burton ones.
I have
those
a
are
I have a
great.
soft spot for the Tim Burton. When the
Sure.
when the
like the
Dark
Tim
Knight
Burtons.
came out, it was just like, well, this is clearly the better Joker. It's like, all right, Jack Nicholson's Joker was fine for what that movie was.
Yeah.
It was over the top. It was still really fucking dark.
Is that Keaton?
Yeah, Michael Keaton. If
Yeah.
you go to the original Batman, it was like cartoony and comic booky, but it was also really fucking dark. And I mean, Christopher Nolan, different vibe to the whole thing. Heath Ledger was amazing. But no, I mean, they both stand alone as good Jokers. And, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I like Jack Nicholson's version too. Yeah.
I've never seen any of the originals, guys.
They're good. They're
It's
good.
the best Catwoman.
Oh no.
Batman
Michelle
Returns
Pfeiffer.
has a lot of good
I
stuff in
love Batman Returns.
it. Really?
I
So
really,
campy.
I'm happy somebody else said that because I mean, I was a kid when that movie came out, so I loved that movie because it had just Jim Carrey being ridiculous.
That wasn't
That was Batman Forever.
Batman Forever.
That,
like
that was
that
Tommy
one.
Lee
I'm
Jones
going
as
back and-
Two-Face
Back
and
I hate Batman Forever. What a
Nicole
terrible
Kidman
movie.
was in that one.
Nicole Kidman
Random.
was Catwoman in.
No, she wasn't. She was just like his random love interest.
Yeah. The random
Oh
love
right,
interest.
yeah, I'm
Remember when they
thinking. Yeah,
had,
it was.
what's his name? Arnold was.
Uh,
What
Oh,
about
that was
Ice
Batman
Age?
and Robin.
Oh my God.
Mr. Freeze.
Yeah, that was
I
the
haven't
nipple
seen
Batman.
So
I want to
bad.
rewatch that. It's fucking
It'll be my next
ridiculous.
pick since we've
Uma
just
Thurman was
decided
Poison
universally
Ivy.
to watch crap for our. Godless was good.
God, this is really good.
Yeah, didn't like it.
you wouldn't.
No, I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it. Yeah.
I wasn't crazy about
It
it.
was. Yeah, it's not that. Well, we'll talk about it when we get there.
Yeah.
Hey,
Let's not jump ahead.
Next segment. What do we go? What do we got here?
Coming
All
soon.
right, coming soon. Now with Post Tomatoes, and Post Tomatoes always comes before
Tomatoes.
Tomatoes. Pre-tomatoes. All right, so what happens here is that every week we talk about the films that are coming out this upcoming weekend or week, and also the television shows that are coming out for the week. And then we assign what we believe the Rotten Tomato scores are going to be, and then we take a look at them the following week. Last week we watched The Shape of Water. Or I'm sorry, what came out was The Shape of Water, The Disaster Artist, and Dark, the Netflix original. Now, collectively as a group, so potatoed, we decided that The Shape of Water was going to get a 96%.
What
and
was it?
What did we actually get?
89.
89.
Hey, we're still not
Okay.
bad.
Good. Yeah.
Still a high
Not bad at this.
rating, especially for such a weird-looking movie.
Yeah.
I'm super excited.
Yeah.
really
Yeah, nobody saw it, huh?
Not
I don't
yet.
think it's showing here. It's not.
Really?
It's like a
limited release, so it'll
I didn't know
probably-
that.
That sucks.
Yeah, that's what's happening a lot
Sweet.
with right now is we're
It's a Guillermo
missing
movie.
a lot of movies and yeah, but he's what movies has he made that have been like
Yeah.
Pacific Rim.
yeah,
That didn't like do hugely well.
We'll just have to see it when
wait,
we go
the
to
second
LA
one already came out?
for
No, not
Christmas.
yet.
Oh,
Well, no,
okay.
it'll
But
come
I
out
think
here.
Pacific Rim was
We'll get it later.
Probably
widely
like
released, though,
next
right?
week we'll get The Shape of
Right.
Water or
Right.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
really looking
Yeah.
forward to that one.
All the articles I'm seeing about it is just like that it's fantastic. Yeah. Oh, the best title best title of an article is the best fish human love movie ever made.
up there with a
like-
fish called Wanda.
The Disaster Artist, we thought it was going to be a 94.
That's high.
Yep.
I
was high. You
I
all
was
agreed.
going lower.
Yeah, you went lower for all of them, I think.
84. Okay.
I think that's
84.
changed already.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
84%. That's still great. Do you think it deserves an 84? You're the only one of us that I think saw. No, you both
I saw it, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have probably given it like I thought it was good, like in 75, 80. Like,
Okay.
Yeah.
Disaster
it wasn't
Artist-
like it wasn't like blowing my mind with how good it was. It was a pretty straightforward movie.
Okay.
But,
Yeah.
But you had a good time. It was a
yeah,
comedy,
it was
right?
fun enough
Yeah.
to watch.
It was enjoyable. It now has a 94%.
Oh.
wow.
Wait, did it go
We
back
got
up?
it on the nose.
Maybe that was a typo.
I'm at Rotten Tomatoes right now.
That
yeah,
was probably a
94%.
typo because it says 84 and maybe it was a 94.
Wow, we got it
Well,
on the
what
nose,
shape
guys.
of water then?
Yeah, pretty close.
Ooh.
What's
All
the
right,
Shape
we're
of
double
Water?
checking our
I don't
Shape of
trust
Water score.
Yeah, 94.
Who's producing
This
shit?
this coming in. You just show up talent. Shut your mouth.
I was gonna check. Hold on.
And lastly, the Netflix original Dark. We all
Dark.
decided collectively we thought it was going to be an 84%, and it was 78.
Okay.
Still pretty
Pretty
good.
close.
Yeah. Not the best score, but still a
Dylan
good
and
score.
I would rate it higher than that. We've been watching it and we love it.
I'm
It's so good.
yeah, we were telling Scott earlier that like we were literally at the edges of our seats. Like
Yep.
I was on the edge of the couch.
Yep.
Like I can't believe, and we would
Did you
pause.
fall off?
Higher.
Good one, Jason. Good one. Yeah.
Okay.
Did you fall off?
Okay, Shape of Water is 87, so it actually went down.
No,
a little
it's
bit. Oh,
95. Audience score is
95. Oh my
87, but
gosh.
the
95.
critic score is 95.
So these are changing because
I think you're just pulling random numbers.
nope.
No.
I'm not pulling
They're
random
changing.
numbers. These are changing.
95. Wow.
I think a lot more
It's high.
reviews have been coming in too because it just got a lot of nominations.
And they
at the,
just came
like,
out.
Film
So.
Critics Awards or
All
something.
right, checking dark. It better be higher because you know it doesn't deserve a 78.
It is good though.
It is so good.
God
Good,
damn
good,
it!
good.
It's got to be one of the best shows of the year.
Oh my
Honestly,
God,
that's how much I
love
like
it.
it.
Is it in English? I thought it was like
German.
It's in German, and they talk in German.
Uh-huh.
Well, okay, so the article that I
Subtitles.
read before we started it was that the dubs, the English dubs, weren't very good, and so I didn't even try the English dubs. I put it on German, and then I just am reading it.
Yeah.
Oh, so you
Never do dubbing.
Never
Dubbing
do the
is
dubbing.
bad.
I remember, like, I saw Old Boy.
What's up? 88% for dark. Okay,
Oh,
great. So
cool.
it's doing
It went
better
up.
Everything's going up.
than yesterday's score.
Great.
These all probably have like low critical scores, and then when one or two people come in, it changes drastically. Yeah, Dark though, I can't recommend it enough. It's going to make it into my top 10 of the year list, which I'm making a list, guys. So if you want to, you can also make a list and we'll post it or something.
It's really, really good.
Yeah.
It reminds me a lot of Stranger Things and that
Adult
Candle
version.
Cove.
It's a mixture of Stranger Things and Candle Cove.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you like mystery, it's about
Supernatural stuff.
supernatural time travel. The storyline, it's just this web that I don't know how people can write like this, but it's so well done.
Yep.
Yeah, we watched seven episodes in 2 days, and they're each about an hour long.
Yep.
Yeah, can't wait to finish it.
10
Me too.
episode season?
10 episode season. Yeah. I'm waiting for this show to be over so I can just watch it.
I know.
So good. But stay tuned because what's coming up next, guys? We got Pre-Tomatoes, right? With new movies and television shows that are coming out this week. I think I only chose 3 this time.
Top 3 or something. that were most
So what do we
popular.
have coming out this week, guys? I'll let you take it away, Jason.
Phantom Thread, which I'm very excited about.
hear very good things about.
Yeah, it's doing
Thomas
well.
Anderson movie,
Cool.
Black Mirror season 4. Has anybody watched any of the trailers? Or are we watching them?
We'll watch one more trailer.
Okay.
Yeah, they've released a trailer for every episode. I think all 8 episodes, or is it 7?
Ooh, I don't
8.
And
And then
then-
December. That comes out
That's a lot
December
of
29th, the end of the
And
year.
Oh my
there's
God, I'm so
some
excited.
movie that I'm called Star Wars.
Looks like an art house film.
I don't
Star
know what that
Wars. I
is.
think it's pronounced Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Star Wars. Yeah.
The Last Judy. The Last Judy.
The Last Judy.
The Last Jew.
coming
There are
out.
no
They're
more
eradicating Judy's left and right.
Looks
It's
terrible.
just an old name, you know?
My name
Yeah.
is really Judy. Shh.
Probably a small indie film. But yeah, that comes out this Thursday, December 15th.
Uh-huh.
When does Phantom Thread come out? Do we know?
I do
It's
not
probably
know.
one of
Does
those,
it
again,
say?
like a limited release thing.
Yeah.
It's
It'll
gonna
take
be,
a month for us to get it or
and
something.
Okay.
and it'll be here, but
It looks
So-
really good, though. I'm looking forward to seeing all 3
Was
of
this
them.
hearing
before or
it's a
after Daniel Day
masterpiece
Lewis
from
retired, quote unquote?
This
This
was
is his
supposed to
last
be his
one.
last
This
film.
is his last film.
in fact, it's been said, or he's said, that because he's such a method actor, that he did so much research and got so much into this role of this dress designer in this movie that he is going to try to maybe go
No.
into dressmaking.
Are you
Oh my
serious?
Another career, yeah.
What?
That would be
Well, he's already a
Wonderful.
cobbler in like Italy. He like
What?
lives in some
Who
small
is this
town
man?
in Italy. Well, that's what he does
Daniel
when he's
Day-Lewis.
not making movies. He has like he lives
just
in a small
makes
like
everything
beautiful
for
Italian
himself.
town and makes shoes. Like,
Last I heard, he worked at a Dairy Queen and was
Okay.
making a
That's
lot
a
of
Daniel
milkshakes
Day-Lewis
for
movie in
people.
yes.
Yeah, he
that's
was
also-
drinking a lot of milkshakes for a while.
Yeah.
Oh, you need to go to the bathroom? All right. Take off. Hot take in the bathroom. We got a camera in there. So yeah, these are the TV shows and films coming out for pretty much the rest of the year. I think is what I was just aiming for because these aren't all coming out within the upcoming week.
Right.
We got Black
There's a
Mirror
lot
December
more.
29th. There's a lot more,
a
but
lot
these
more.
are the these are
like the most
the big ones that we
critically
care about.
acclaimed or
Is
something.
that
Yeah, I
true?
think that's
yeah.
fair.
I can't think of any other that like has this much hype at least.
Yeah.
Right.
Phantom Thread being a smaller film, so maybe not as much. But are you guys looking forward to all of them? You're gonna watch all? What are you doing, man?
Okay?
He has like a small menagerie of.
You look like you were doing like a workout. Like,
I'm gonna watch all 3 of them, and I'm extremely
gonna
excited
watch.
about
Yeah.
all 3.
The Phantom Thread for sure. We'll see we'll see how Black Mirror does.
Yeah, I'm excited for Black Mirror.
Black Mirror, I think, is one of the best shows on television right now. Quote,
But
unquote.
yeah,
maybe yeah, it's top 3 for me.
It's excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're doing a
Um,
Star Trek sort of like spoof.
yeah, which makes me think of
Episode.
Orville, which is not doing well.
Yeah, I've,
Yeah.
this guy I work with thinks it's hilarious, and so like I'm really judging a lot based on that, just because.
Wait, does he have is he funny?
No,
That's
he's
funny.
just a dude.
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know
Just
that you
a
work
normal-
with.
Sure.
And
fair.
he knows that I'm into like
Comedy,
funny, and
yeah.
I'm very funny.
you're into funny.
I'm into funny. Odd TBS. Very funny. And so he's like talking to me about like I've been watching that Orville, like it's hilarious. I'm like, oh, is it?
Yeah, it's
Doesn't
got,
look like
it's
it.
got some of the worst
I did-
reviews of the year.
I did watch an episode
How did it? How was
just
it?
because it happened to be on television. It seemed like old school, like crappy Star Trek.
Okay,
You
that's
know?
what they're going for.
It's not supposed to be funny either. It's
don't think
kind
it's
of like a
supposed to be
very
funny.
straight take on
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
that genre.
I just kind of mentally groan whenever I see Seth MacFarlane. So
Yeah,
it's like I don't
sure.
care what he's doing.
I get it, but I will say, 1,000 Ways to Die in the West. Is that what
Yeah,
it's
I
called?
think it's
that was a funny movie.
God damn, I had
liked
such a
it.
good time.
I like,
but it
that
was. You're
movie.
right. It's childish.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm.
Yeah.
That you're
All
yeah.
3 of us just said
Man.
we liked it. So
I mean,
don't
Galaxy
look
I
at
thought it
me.
was
Quest.
funny, yeah.
Guys,
Did
Galaxy
you watch
I
it?
Quest.
don't get it.
Anybody?
No.
But
Like
he's
Galaxy
not
Quest?
involved with
But
that.
that's
I
not
know,
Seth
but
MacFarlane.
it's like a really good spoof on like Star Trek sort of stuff.
Sure.
Yeah.
yeah, just
sure.
watch that instead.
Yeah,
Watch that
like
instead.
Galaxy Quest is better
Great.
than
Yeah.
Seth MacFarlane.
It's really funny.
I mean, I didn't watch 100 Ways to Die in the West because
think it's
I heard
1,000.
it was like universally the worst movie.
It wasn't like well liked, but it's one of those like if it's on HBO and you watch it, you'll probably laugh.
It's
I
fun.
that's
Yeah,
how
it's
I
just
saw
poop and
it.
fart jokes. I mean,
Yeah.
you got to be okay with that. But it's honestly like one of the best fart jokes I've ever
My
seen.
mom really likes that
So
movie.
stupid.
It was on
serious
HBO and
movie
she saw it.
review
And,
show, movie and television reviews.
We can't all be all high class and I can't wait for Phantom Thread.
Well.
Phantom Thread is the best. Ooh, Phantom.
can't all be-
Lady Bird was wonderful.
Oh, Lady Bird was.
All right, so let's
seen
start.
it yet.
Phantom
still got to
Thread.
talk about these.
What do we think the Rotten Tomato score is going to be for Phantom Thread? I want
gonna
you
be
to take the
high.
lead on this. Is you
I mean,
are
95.
I think
invested.
it's been like I think I'll say like a 90.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's gonna be higher than that.
Yeah,
I've been
I do
hearing
too.
it's like
95.
a
Well.
masterpiece. It's like his best movie. So
Yeah,
far.
Oscar season chat. I hear about this.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say like a 97.
Critics usually get him like Paul Thomas Anderson? Do they?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're
Okay.
big.
Okay. Yeah, I'd go like 92, 93.
That's what I'm going at.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I would say 95. So should we do 94? Because that's like
95?
right in the middle.
94?
94?
Sure, yeah.
Sure.
94. All right. Black Mirror season 4. Oh yeah. Okay.
Well, if you're gonna use it as a gavel,
I'm going to
yeah,
go
yeah.
89 on that
That
one.
sounds reasonable.
Yeah.
The show does really well with critics, I think.
Yeah.
It's hard for me when it comes to
TV shows.
TV shows because it seems like they just review like the first 2 episodes
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
because they want to get that review out there. So
You don't think
I
they
don't
watched
know.
the whole season?
well,
Well, I
by
think
the time-
technically a lot of times they can't.
when we
okay.
get back, maybe they'll have watched the whole season and people will be out there. So I'm gonna say 79.
I think IMDb does more of the television show ratings than Rotten Tomato does.
Yeah.
So it makes me wonder if we should go to IMDb for those ratings for television.
Possibly, yeah.
We'll think about it in the new year.
I think it's gonna be higher than that. I think it'll be in the 90s somewhere.
That's where I want it to be.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 90. Just 90.
I'll go with
90?
that. Sure.
90?
90?
90?
I said.
Well, you said
say?
79.
I said
you
89. So we could do like 85.
No, well, it's mine. If we're doing averages, then you guys would get a higher load. We can do like 87 or 80. Yeah,
87. All right.
87.
87. Black Mirror season 4 and Star Wars: The Last Jedi again coming in already with the pre-screening last night. I think was the big pre-screening, and overwhelmingly positive is the quotes I'm hearing.
Yeah.
What are we thinking, guys?
85.
90s.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be in the 90s.
Yeah, 90
I
something.
mean, if Force Awakens was in the 90s,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
I don't know.
Probably.
I think it was for the first. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it still is.
I'm gonna give it a 1%.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say 100.
One.
No, we're not doing the average.
Really pulling that average down.
So you have to average it. It's gonna get like
70s or 80s.
$1. Fuck you.
I want to say 95.
I'm gonna go 95.
I can just throw out my opinion.
Yeah, I'm
on
good
this
with
one.
that. Yeah.
95, Jessica?
Are
you looking
I
at the
said
last one?
85. But
Yeah, you think it's gonna be low, huh?
I
Lower?
don't know. I don't know if it's gonna do as well as
Lady
Force
Bird.
Awakens, but as Lady
has
Bird,
done
nothing's
very
gonna do
well.
as well.
I
as
really
Lady
want to
Bird.
see Lady Bird. Everyone's
Lady
talking
Bird
about it,
is
yeah.
It's good.
for the article I read.
I
It
have
is
some
the
thoughts, but it was good.
it's the most
It's gotten the most positive.
it's
reviews.
the most positive reviews ever on Rotten Tomatoes.
It like
And-
beat Toy Story 2 or something like that. Like, yeah.
And then also I keep hearing about like I keep seeing articles about how Lady Bird is like a whitewashed movie too.
Yeah, there's like almost no people of color in that
Right,
movie
right.
at all.
Yeah, I believe it. But
I think
otherwise,
there's maybe one speaking role and of someone who's not white.
Oh.
Yikes.
and
very,
they're
very
the
white.
teller at the bank or
Yikes.
something.
It's one of the teachers. in
Oh,
school.
okay.
For me, I really like the movie just because we're not gonna have a chance to talk about it.
Sure.
For me, it was a little less than the sum of its parts. Like the performances were all really good. It was like really funny and touching in parts, but at the end, it just felt a little like slight.
Huh.
Okay. Doesn't deserve the best rating on Rotten Tomato.
I mean, it definitely deserves high ratings. It's
Okay.
well written, well performed movie. It's just at the end, I was kind of like, what was the point of that?
Okay.
Like,
But you
little
enjoyed
bit.
yourself, which is sometimes a movie's just made for that.
yeah,
I don't know.
I would still give it a positive review. I wouldn't say it's.
I have a question.
perfect
Does it
film.
fill indie?
Yeah,
It does.
it's very indie
Okay.
film.
Interesting.
You can see the boom
So
mic in a lot
guys-
of the shots.
Force Awakens got a 93%. So yeah, I think we're pretty good.
I think
on
we're
that
going.
score.
Honestly, I think like 96.
Meh.
But we want to settle at 95.
I'm gonna say lower.
I'm abstaining.
95.
95,
94.
4.
94.
94. All right.
94.
All right.
That's
We'll do
where we keep
94.
landing at.
94. Star Wars:
All
The
right.
Last Jedi. We'll see in the New Year's, guys.
Yep.
New year, singular.
1 year.
1
Yeah.
year. 1 year from now, we'll talk about
1 year from now, we will not speak of Star Wars for one
Screen
yeah
Source episode 17.
till the next.
the next.
Oh, the next Star Wars. Speaking of which, I saw the Disaster Artist on Friday, and I saw the poster for Solo. It looks like a parody. It
Really?
looks like a fucking joke. Like,
No.
because it's just like
like the
Solo
Star
in the
Wars
Star
font.
Wars font with that yellow ring around
Yeah.
it, and it
Yeah.
looks
Looks like a robot chicken.
exactly,
or something.
exactly. It looks like a robot.
I think you
chicken
guys are
thing.
thinking that because the logo is more of the 80s
setting.
feel instead of the like newer modern one where it's straight across.
Or it's just it's not its own thing. It's just like, hey, this is what
But
Star Wars
none
looks
of them
like.
have ever been their
Yes.
own thing.
Right.
Yeah.
But I just saw it and be
Show
like,
us
it
Bond.
looks like a joke. It looks like a parody movie.
Bond's pulling it up. Oh
Show
no!
it up. There it is.
Wait,
No,
that is
that's
not.
no, that's not what I saw.
fan-made
No,
poster.
that's not what I saw.
Maybe type
it's
in
just,
official
It's just like a
poster.
Starfield and like Solo in yellow letters with the ring around it.
This guy is awesome though. Whatever his name is.
Oh, the actor?
Yeah, the guy who plays him.
What is
Maybe
this?
put
Solo?
Star Wars in
Yeah,
there.
Star Wars. Because what is this other thing? What is this solo? movie?
Leaked.
There you go. We got this.
Maybe it's not on the internet.
I know what you're talking about, though. I've seen it.
Yeah.
So there are posters in the theater. still.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
it's.
Are you
the-
serious? It's a year out and we already got posters?
Well, yeah, I mean,
There's
there's
not
no
much to the
image,
poster.
but yeah, it's just like coming soon, coming eventually.
I watched a commercial about. Here are just two commercials I've seen for Star Wars. It's like somebody like in a car.
It's
Give me these glasses. Give me these glasses.
Somebody's like, it's like a teenage daughter in her car, and then like her dad's
Ruined my
like in
puppet.
the driver's seat, and he's like, she's like, I don't know, Dad, and he's like, you just have to believe and trust, and I don't know, it's like a self-driving car thing, and then she like lets go of the wheel, and then it's like she's flying through space, and it's like Star Wars, but it's like for a freaking like Nissan. And then, like, there's another one with, like, a guy, and he's holding, like, an electric razor looking in the mirror, and he's like, and then it, like does, like, a pan, and it's like he's in outer space. And I'm like, what is going on? Where are we? Enough! Enough!
That was Hot Take with Jason Weiler
Oh, man.
Wow.
on Star Wars commercials.
Done. Star
Wars advertising.
Calm down.
Okay, next.
Moving on.
Next.
But don't you love the Star Wars?
Oh, are we into
That's not Todd's voice, and you know it.
We're doing our best and worst
yeah.
movie and TV of the year.
Yeah, so we each individually rather, chose our favorite movie or television show of the year and our least favorite that we saw, at least. My guess is that we're not all actively looking for the worst thing.
No.
So
I actually had to look at like lists of things that came out this year. But like, did I like that?
so hard
Yeah.
to do that. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's
that
hard 'cause
the
I
worst
hadn't
took me
watched a
way
lot of
longer.
I don't-
things that I thought were bad.
I purposely
really bad.
don't watch things that I know are going to be bad. That's why
Yeah.
I don't watch
Right.
Justice League. That's why
Right.
I like to watch things. Yeah,
I agree. Yeah, we're
So it was a
spending
little-
our time wisely. But now, at least once a year now, if this show continues, we got to watch a bad one, guys.
Gotta watch some
Maybe
shit.
we'll watch it
Yeah.
collectively.
We watched Toys, guys. I think we're done for this year.
Yeah, but
That's not-
That
2017.
did not come out this year.
2017.
I know, but
yeah.
still, I'm just saying. It was pretty bad.
Okay, so who did we have first? I saw we had a little
it's
sneaky
mine.
peeky. Is it yours? All right.
Right.
So your favorite was 13 Reasons Why.
Wow. You and every woman in the office I work.
Really?
They all
Okay.
love
I have things about this thing.
What's it about? I don't.
Okay, so first of all,
Ugh.
the shorter conversation, Big Sick, amazing movie, came out this
Really
year.
good.
Very good.
I am excited and really in love with the fact that Camille and Emily are being able to be creative and things are going well for them. So I fully support this movie. It's a great story. It's really funny.
Listen to the Indoor Kids podcast. With
Indoor
them too.
Kids podcast where they talk a lot about how they met. So I knew a lot about this before I came into the film.
Emily
but-
V. Gordon is one of my actual heroes. She created Harmontown.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason my favorite piece of media exists is because she told Dan Harmon to make a podcast.
Right. She ran the Nerd Melt Theater for many
Mm-hmm.
years. Camille, of course, is a comedian who's finally getting his due, getting noticed.
Yes.
On
the cover
Saturday
with
Night
Gal
Live.
Gadot.
Yes. Yeah. So I really love this movie. One of my favorites of this year. So the flip side of that coin, and again, I had to look at things that came out this year, and I really had an issue with 13 Reasons Why, which is a Netflix show that came out this year. I really disliked the aim of the show. So it's a show about a girl in high school who kills herself.
I remember. Okay.
She leaves 13 audio tapes of the reasons why she killed herself, and they are pointed for specific people, and so the episodes are people listening to these tapes, figuring out reasons why she killed herself. I felt, as somebody who has spent a good part of my life, I had some really dark years contemplating killing myself and everything. It is dangerous, I feel, because it really plays into the fantasy of suicide.
Ooh.
Of when I kill myself, you're going to be so hurt. You're going to feel these things. When I die, you are going to feel this, and it really plays into that, and I think that's dangerous.
Kind of like getting retribution
exactly,
for
revenge.
Revenge, yeah.
For people that hurt you, and I think that is dangerous for a show that was clearly aimed towards high school children to watch this, and it plays into that, and I don't, and I think it was reckless.
This is psychologically reckless.
Yes,
Yeah, for
yeah.
the public. Okay.
It
And-
romanticizes.
Yes,
suicide.
yeah, and
Suicide, yeah.
I thought it was it's a very sensitive subject that needs
Yes.
a really specific, more detailed, realistic view on and don't flower it up with this elaborate sort of, kind of like how the murderer in Seven was elaborate with all of his different movements, and you're going to figure out everything that I did. It's not like that. It's really dangerous to kind of put that out there. So I thought it was And so I'm telling everybody about this. Don't watch this thing. It's terrible.
Now they're going to watch it. Did you watch all of it?
I watched the first few episodes and I didn't like where it was going, and
Sure.
I didn't. It's a full season of television.
I remember my Facebook feed getting filled up after this came out with people saying, wasn't the same people, but saying both like, oh, this is interesting because we have a show that's about suicide. That is not a popular choice or topic for a show. And I don't know that they were saying it's a good view on it or not, but I do remember, definitely remember people saying that this is not good for the public. This isn't, this is not
and
showing
for teenagers
suicide.
who are so impulsive as it is, you know, they watch a TV show and it really affects them, and they're really going to take whatever they see on TV to heart. So I think you're right. It's really dangerous. It's not good.
Irresponsible.
Yeah.
I read a lot about that when it came out. Like, just
bad things.
Yeah, just like not a smart approach to this topic.
Not tasteful.
Not
It makes me wonder if they
responsible.
had what's it called when you have a professional, an expert in a
Oh,
field.
like
Psychologist
a psychologist or social worker or
No,
something.
yeah, but
Someone to
they had that on
Yeah.
Mad
a
Men.
consultant. That's the word I was looking
Right.
for. Yeah.
And it's based on a young adult novel, 13 Reasons Why.
Oh.
And they just kind of expanded it into a TV show. I thought it was a misfire, and it really kind of got in my craw that
Sure.
it was.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I feel like somebody that has thought about these things would probably have a better perspective on it.
right.
And also, I'd like to
yeah.
hear your perspective as somebody. Well, you'd have to watch it, obviously, but like you are a
Right.
therapist and you deal with people that have these thoughts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you're right about they probably didn't have someone consulting that was a professional, like a psychologist or a social worker. Mad Men actually had a social worker consultant, and so I think that's why a lot of the things that happen in that show are really well done. But,
There's like two or
yeah.
three books that I've seen that for Mad Men that are written by psychologists and psychiatrists.
Yeah.
About
So I think, I agree with you, Scott. I think it's really dangerous for teenagers who are already so impulsive and so emotional and affected easily by media. So
Yeah.
Now, I will say I don't think this topic shouldn't be treaded upon.
no, I think
but
it should be.
You are walking on eggshells, though. You should know what you're doing.
And it was kind of dealt with. It looked like something kind of shit that would be on CW.
Right.
And like, I say that, and you all kind of have a picture of what I mean. Like, not really in depth as to importance or well written. It's just kind of this fluffy kind of teeny show that is dealing with a really serious problem that is still happening. And I just thought it was not a good show.
Yeah.
So the worst of 2017.
Good pick.
That's it. Big Sick's the best though.
Big Sick. Watch another person that is almost dying.
Yeah, but beautifully done.
Very well done. Yes. Good choice. All right. Who's up next?
My favorite movie of the year. No surprise here. Favorite piece of media this year was, of course, Olaf's Christmas experience.
Oh my God.
That's why it's in front. Of
Infinite,
So bad.
infinite Christmas experience.
Never ending Christmas experience.
I had to come up with these really quick. Yes, of course. That all of us who went to see Coco the other week, we were all groaning for the 21 or 2 minutes, which felt like an
3 hours.
45.
As of
for this
December
terrible
7th,
thing.
Disney
Oh,
has
they
taken it
took it
off
out.
of
Thank
the beginning of
God.
Coco.
They're no longer showing.
But as of
Oh
this
my
upcoming
God.
Thursday, they're doing the TV spot,
bad.
which they
Which
were
it should
originally.
have been in the first place. Put it on TV.
They are still putting it
They're
on
still
TV.
doing it. Yep.
Those bastards at Disney.
Our new
We get our
leaders.
way anyway. Yeah.
Oh man.
Or Furors.
We all know. We talked about it. Why it was so bad. Kevin did not get the opportunity to talk about his experience with us the last
true.
show. So
Yeah, so it was going for a while, and I was really hungry, and I thought, like, I wonder if I have enough time to go get some popcorn.
and I remember
And
being
was
a little bit worried. I was like, I don't know, Kevin. These things are like 7
And
minutes.
they're
I was
short.
like,
They're usually like 8 minutes.
I was really like, and then I went out and I got some popcorn. I was waiting in line. And
Smartest
it was like
choice.
a really long line, and I was like, dang it, I'm missing the beginning of Coco. I'm sure I'll still know what the movie's about, but like, I really wanted to see the beginning. And so then I get back to the movie, and I think I hear Kristen Bell's voice. And I'm
As
like,
you're
"That's
walking
weird. I
through the
didn't know
hall."
she was in Coco, because certainly we're not still in the short. And then I see freaking Olaf is still running around doing whatever. I missed most of it, thankfully. And so then I came back and I sat down.
How was the popcorn?
And I'm
though?
eating the popcorn and I'm watching the short and I'm like, this doesn't seem like it's anywhere close to being done.
He's lost
And
in
I
the
was like,
woods.
this popcorn's so greasy. Maybe I should go get some napkins. So I went and got napkins and then came back. I could have gone to the bathroom
Yeah.
while I was out
Three
there.
times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just remember like
I love you, Kristen Bell. Why'd you do this to me?
Kevin leans over and I'm just like, yeah, the stakes in this are really low. It's like, yeah, they're gonna go get popcorn. And he just leaves.
It was just endless jokes for 20
I like that
minutes.
you were like,
Yeah.
and Olaf is up there doing something, and I watched all of it, and that was my takeaway. I still have no idea what happened except Olaf was up there doing something.
The tradition was
gifts.
him.
Oh,
It
The
was really
worst.
dumb.
Yeah, we'll spoil it for you. It's all about Olaf. Go buy your Olaf shit.
So anyway, that was my least favorite thing.
Good choice.
I did want to add something else. I know if we have to pick one, but I'm gonna cheat. And Mother was, I think, my favorite experience in the movie theater this year. I got to see it in LA at the Cinerama Dome. And it was just I love Darren Aronofsky, and it was I love that somebody made this movie. I think we live in a time where everything is very formulaic, and it's like you know everything is so like Disney's got its grubby hands on it, being like, well, let's make this make the third act a little bit more like this. Let's have Olaf be the freaking point of the movie or whatever. But this movie was just so out there and crazy, and
It's
had
gonna
so much
stick with
bravado
people for a
that
while.
It stuck
Yeah.
with me.
I loved talking about this movie.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
after we saw it, the four
Yeah,
of us with Tito and Elena, we spent like 2 hours.
We shut
at
down O'Neill's
O'Neill's
talking about this
movie,
shit.
and then
yeah.
the next day we came and we did our spoiler review and talked for like 45 minutes. There's so much to talk about in this movie.
Good film. Good
Yeah.
film.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not
it was a
unlike
really good
Olaf's Magical Christmas.
Yeah. And that it was
So-
hard to watch.
We had
It was very hard to watch.
I loved
was.
it though. Like it was hard to watch, but at the same time, I was sitting there like, I had like that feeling of like being in like, I don't get these feelings from like big action movies anymore. But like as it was like devolving and like all the
Yeah.
chaos was hitting the fan, I was like,
You can't.
Yeah.
You cannot take
What?
your eyes off
Like
this.
what?
film.
Yeah,
they
yeah,
can't
yeah.
do that, can they?
yeah.
It was electric. Yeah.
So yeah, I thought it was. I had a blast watching it, which is weird to say, but I did. I had a fun time. So I loved Mother, and also I wanted to throw in here Twin Peaks: The Return was also my favorite thing.
I still need to watch it.
Okay,
yeah.
so interestingly enough, when I was looking for worst movies and television shows of the year, Twin Peaks kept coming up in the worst list.
Aw.
To be honest
Most
with
people
you.
really
People
liked
don't know.
it.
Yeah.
I thought
Oh,
it got
I mean,
good
that's
reviews.
kind of that's been the tale of Twin Peaks forever. You either
Yeah.
you either like it or you
Controversial.
don't like. Yeah, you
Like
either,
Mother,
You
in that
either
way.
get it or you don't.
Right.
I mean, I can go on and on, which I have done on the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's absolutely fantastic.
I still need to find a way to
You
watch
have to
The
be
Return.
okay with the
yeah.
weird and uncomfortable.
Yeah,
Both
that's
of
all
those
it
things.
is. Yeah,
David
that-
Lynch is
yeah.
doing things that nobody else is doing.
Yep.
So
He is.
Yeah.
All right, who is up next? I think it's
I don't
Jess.
know if I
Maybe?
got mine in enough time. Oh, it's me.
it's you.
It's you.
Hi.
Loved The Good Doctor. Loved it. No, okay. This was hard for me because, like we said, like I don't watch a lot of things that I know I'm not gonna like, and I feel like I'm at a point now where I can judge that pretty good.
Even from just like trailers and posters. And,
Yeah.
And it's like,
interesting.
that's not for me. Yeah.
So like yeah, there were plenty of crappy movies that came out this year that I wanted to talk about. Like The Book of Henry looked horribly
It was on the worst list
terrible.
many a time.
Yeah, but I didn't see that, and I'm not gonna put myself through that, so I can talk about it. So the only bad thing that I really remember watching this year was on a whim, started watching the pilot of The Good Doctor, and it was not like aggressively awful. It's just like very cliched. A lot of the characters are exactly who you expect to be in like a medical drama, and then I also felt like having the main character be autistic and the way that they played it as like is something that I think an episode of Community did really well at like talking about using someone with like autism or some other like,
Oh, right. Yeah. Differently abled.
differently abled to like have them be like solve crimes or in this case save people's lives, because it's kind of a weird feeling
Sure.
of like you're kind of exploiting
Taking
this
It's not the
advantage.
same
in a way.
Yeah, it's not the same as like House, for instance, which this is the same producers or directors or writers or something.
Producers,
Producers, where House obviously has problems, but it's not those kinds of
Or on
issues.
Parenthood, for example, they did a really good job of portraying Max and having
autistic,
Asperger's, and I think you can do it really well. You just have to, again, it's all about like, do you have a consultant? Do you actually talk to people who have autism?
I will say though, but
know?
like this, there's not a lot where there's a main character, you know, like Max was like pretty extraneous,
right?
You know,
right.
So this is a hard thing to do.
It just kind of feels like you can imagine what the pitch meeting was like. Oh, but he has autism. That is great. I love that. Autism. It's so hot right now.
Autism.
13 episodes. Let's do it.
Exactly.
Like, oh God, stop it.
Just
It is not hot anymore. It
Stop
was
taking
hot like in the
advantage of autistic
70s
people.
or something, but
It's just sad.
Yeah. So again, it
so out of
wasn't
trend.
like the worst thing that exists, but for me, it was probably one of the worst things I remember watching this year.
I know I keep saying this, but it was also on many worst of
Was
the
it?
year.
Okay,
Yes.
well, good. I
Yeah,
made
so
the
you're
right
not the
choice.
You're
only
not
one.
alone.
And then my pick for best. This is something I just finished watching, so maybe it's just because it's so fresh in my memory. But it's a new Amazon original series, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, from Amy Sherman Palladino of Gilmore Girls fame.
Oh my
So
God,
good.
I
It's
have to watch
about
it.
a 1950s housewife who gets into stand-up comedy.
Really?
And it's so well done. It has a great cast. What's his name who played Monk?
Tony
Tony
Shalhoub.
Shalhoub.
Great.
Plays her dad, and he's perfect.
I love Tony Shalhoub.
When you
This
talk about
actress-
sorry to cut you off real quick. When you talk about posters that like don't look exciting,
This is not a great poster. Not at all.
does not make me want to watch this. But when you're explaining it, absolutely.
Sounds
Yeah, and like
Yeah.
so it's got that like sort of Mad Men era. And what's really interesting is this character is someone who is not upset about, like you so often see like the unhappy housewife in this time. And this is a character who loves her. She has a really good life despite the fact that this is a very like sexist era, but like it's nice to see a female character just take charge and be like happy and not like oppressed and
You've been talking about this for the last like month
Yeah,
that
it's
there are
like-
no shows like this.
Yeah,
and now there is.
and it's because it's from a female perspective. Amy
Yeah.
Sherman Palladino and her husband Dan Palladino.
They co-write.
They co-write their
Got it.
shows together, and yeah, it's really great, especially as someone who like dabbles in stand up a little bit.
Oh, you more than dabble. You dangle.
You're gonna make it good, Kevin.
Dangle.
You're gonna leave us in the dust. You know you are.
Yeah. Don't forget the little guys.
You son of a bitch.
Anyway, I highly recommend this show. It's funny. It's really well acted, and it's just like a fun look into this like world of like the early days of stand up.
Yeah, which you don't see a lot of.
No.
I mean, they talk a lot about the 80s comedy boom.
There was a movie that came out this year called The Comedian, and that it did very poorly. Who was in The Comedian? Do we remember?
Robert De Niro.
Robert De Niro was in it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah.
remember hearing about it.
What about there was also that show on Showtime? Was it that was like about?
Yeah.
Wasn't she in that too?
She's
What's
in
her
House
name?
of Cards. Rachel Brosnahan or
I
something.
know what you're talking about,
second.
but that also kind of failed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was about.
Well,
yeah.
that looks really promising.
I have a
Definitely
couple
gonna watch
questions.
that.
When did this
Loved it.
come out, and how is it doing critically? Do we know?
So it was one of those things where like they made the pilot and then they released it for people to watch and vote if they liked it, and I think it got enough votes obviously to come back for a full season. But critically, I think it's doing well. I
Okay.
haven't really looked a lot into that.
I
They
haven't
just
heard a lot about
released
it,
it like a week ago, maybe.
They really. I'm not sure. This is just coming from my perspective, but they really shortchanged the kind of advertisement. Yeah, I don't know. Did
Yeah,
you-
I don't really like a lot. I've seen it pop up a lot in my like social media feed,
Okay.
but only because like
You watched
I
it.
think it's because I've Googled it because
Yeah.
I'm interested in it.
Okay.
So I don't know how much it's been marketed to people.
95%.
95%. Thank
Yeah, I've
you.
heard good things about it.
Cool.
Cool.
It's definitely well worth watching. And
If you've got Amazon Prime, you've got Amazon Prime
do.
Video. So watch.
And you got a
Watch
free
the Marvelous
Twitch
Mrs.
I
subscription
love
you can
Gilmore
give to
Girls.
Color Circuit.
Yes.
It's free.
Hey, you have
every
Amazon
month.
Prime.
yeah.
Are you
Subscribe to our
subscribed
channel.
to Color
It's
Circuit?
free.
Oh.
Wait,
No, I've been like I don't know how to watch all this.
I'll show you how to watch
on.
it. Stuff with it.
Hold on. Are we actually? Does this go out to the world?
Wait,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We're
that's
not just
real.
sitting here.
I know it sounds
real.
like it, and I know it
This
looks
is
like
real.
it too.
Oh
But
my God, I
when
couldn't-
we go into the new year, we'll likely be going on at a prime time, Amazon Prime time.
Why are these I was wondering what the cameras were.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Thought this was an
Cameras,
elaborate sex
microphone.
thing or something.
It's got
This
their
is
way of
too legit
decorating.
to quit.
Don't want to.
Next slide.
Jason, I just want to invite you in to talk. Once a week, just about film and television.
Yeah.
We'll aim towards
towards
something
the
else.
wall.
You
Yeah.
kept it and you like, I don't know, jerked off to it. Like,
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like-
yeah.
it's
This
like
is,
when little
spank
kids-
material.
It's like when little kids would
With
put
the
on
puppet.
plays in their rooms. Like this is that, just with
Our
cameras.
play.
Wow. All right then.
Cool. Well, hey, welcome to the show.
We're still here.
All right, who do we got next? We
I
have,
don't know what to
Filming.
do
I
now.
think it's
do we have
me.
Jessica? Is that
Yeah.
you? All right.
to do with
So
my hands.
I thought This Is Us for me was one of my favorite shows of the year, and then in terms of movies, I'm going to kind of cheat a little bit and say I loved Logan. Logan was
Oh,
phenomenal. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And then Beauty and the Beast, I thought was not very good.
Oh.
Yeah, the Disney live action, thought it could have been a lot better. And again, I chose something because I didn't have a whole lot of things that I had watched that were on the worst list, but it just wasn't very good, and I was disappointed because I really liked Beauty and the Beast.
Haven't all these live actions kind of flunked?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought Cinderella.
Cinderella-
Was good.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
how did it do well?
No.
It did decent.
I think
They
it
didn't,
did.
market it very they didn't. It seemed almost like a kind of like a secret to I remember
I didn't
being
know.
surprised that I was like,
Yeah.
oh, there's a live action Cinderella, but I've heard good things about it.
It was good.
It was true to the cartoon. They didn't diverge.
Yeah, it didn't break any
too much.
new ground,
Right.
but it was it was a nice retelling of Cinderella. I think
Yeah.
it even got nominated for best costume at the Oscars.
Definitely better than Beauty and the Beast. That's for sure.
And Maleficent was garbage.
Garbage.
gosh,
It was
so
so
bad.
stupid. It
Worse-
was
I
like,
haven't seen
why
Some of the
do
bad
that?
$7 to spend.
Yeah, I
was
remember.
it? Yeah.
I remember seeing it with a whole bunch of Disney freaks, and we debated about it afterwards, and was like, why did they make it?
Well, it was interesting that they started off, if I'm not mistaken, they started off the live action franchise with Maleficent.
Yeah, and it wasn't
No,
like a
Cinderella, I think, came first, and then Maleficent.
no.
No, I
it
think
was Maleficent.
And then Cinderella.
I don't remember. I didn't see
Yeah.
Maleficent.
Don't watch Maleficent, guys. Not worth it.
She was the scariest.
But I remember thinking Cinderella was better just because they didn't fuck with it. They didn't fuck with the story. They just did a live action retelling of the cartoon, which people will buy tickets to, and it's easy.
Did Cinderella start off with like this big old war, or was that Maleficent? I can't remember which.
That was Maleficent.
Okay, yeah, that was bad.
Because it was a complete flip side. Maleficent wasn't a bad guy anymore. And
What's up, Bon?
The only reason why they made Maleficent first is because it was going off of Wicked. Since it was really popular.
okay.
So
Correct.
that's why they made the Maleficent movie.
Totally makes
Interesting.
sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jason
That's
still
why
doesn't
it's good.
believe it. Yeah, that's what happened, dude.
Wicked came out in 2001, so 15 years later,
Hey,
they're
they were
like,
right
we
that
gotta
way."
cash in.
So anyway, This Is
Didn't come out
Us.
first.
This
I was
Is
wrong.
Us
It
was
came out in
really
2014.
great. Tearjerker.
Amazing pilot. That's all I saw.
Yeah,
but-
tearjerker. Every episode, I'm like ugly crying. So yeah, it's and the acting is actually really good. I actually can't believe this is kind of sad, but I never would have thought Mandy Moore would be such a good actress. She's a really good actress.
Well, nobody
long
thinks
been
of
a
her
fan
as,
of
like-
Mandy Moore. I
She's
love
good.
Mandy
She was
Moore.
never like Britney Spears level
No.
pop star, so I
Right.
mean,
No,
she
but-
could have had. Yeah,
She
I'm.
was
she
charming
could-
and tangled.
Yeah,
She
yeah,
made a good villain in Princess Diaries.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then Saved. She was
She
the
was-
bi-
yeah.
yeah. She was
I love
great in
Saved.
Saved.
She
yeah.
did a movie
Yeah.
that was really cute called Because I Said So with Diane Keaton, and I actually really liked that
Yeah.
movie.
But as far as her
And
acting
the one
career,
where she dies.
as far as her
Walk
acting
to
career,
Remember.
Mandy Moore is going to be more remembered for This Is Us.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
this
She
is
was always
good.
like the sane pop star that was like, I'm not being exploited.
Right.
I'm going to make
Right.
some good choices.
She's
Right.
like, I'm going to wear
Yeah.
underwear when I get out of a car. Good. I'm not going to just,
And then what do we know the name of the gentleman, the black guy on the far right?
Sterling K. Brown.
Yeah, I saw
Awesome.
him in I finally watched the OJ show. I know I'm late,
So good.
but that was a
So
good
good.
one. It didn't make my top 10, but it was good.
It wasn't this year, or else it would have made my.
Oh,
Yeah.
was
Was
it?
it this year?
No,
I don't-
I thought it was
It's
this
been
year.
a
No, it was
while.
last
It was
year.
last
Okay,
year.
okay.
Otherwise, that would have been.
My
Up
one
there.
gripe is that I think they did a poor music editing. And if I don't know, you just gotta rewatch it I was looking at that a lot, and I don't know why. It was pretty prevalent, but I had a problem with it.
I thought the props department was lacking.
The glove should have fit.
Sterling K. Brown is a phenomenal actor, and I think he did great in both This Is Us and in OJ People
Loved
versus
him in
OJ
OJ,
Simpson.
yeah.
Yeah, super good. Yeah.
Cool. All right, and lastly is myself. I made a list of my top 10. Actually, 11. Wonder Woman was 11. Didn't crack it. Now with Star Wars coming out, and with me finishing Dark, it'll probably crack the top 10. But when I was thinking, like, what has brought me the most joy in all of the things that I've watched, Practical Jokers, which I've talked about here before, I've had more like pure joy experience, next to things like Rick and Morty. Also, I noticed it was really weird. All of my top 10, the television shows outbeat the movies. And I think that might be because of like the length of time I can enjoy something that I really enjoy. If that makes any sense. And so like next to like Rick and Morty and Nathan For You, things like that actually brought me a ton of joy. This was one of them. Or even just like, God, I just see you boiling, dude.
It's a reality TV show, isn't it?
It is.
I don't know if I consider it's more like it's kind of a candid show, but it's not really, because in candid shows, it's most of a candid show like what was it called? Like Candid TV, right?
Candid Camera.
Candid Camera.
Camera.
Thank you. Yeah, the joke is a
of all
lot of
these.
the times those jokes are on the people that they are.
There's a camera in the plant. What? Oh
right.
my
It's on the
God.
people. It's on the people
That's
that
what I'm
are the
thinking
prey.
the show is.
This show is the opposite. The joke's actually on them, and they're trying to get them to look
It's like a big game of truth or dare with each other.
Kind of,
Like they're just like, go and I dare you to go do this thing, and
yeah.
it's
And
pretty funny. I
the-
think it's funny.
Yeah, your like outlook
Based
on
on
it
its
is the
surface,
same.
I'm like,
Is
Yeah.
the similar
White
thing that
dudes, okay.
there's a similar thing that Tito
They're
was like
Jewish, if
that
it
way
helps.
too. He like hated, and he finally watched it,
Okay.
and Tito was like super into it now,
What-
to the point where Tito wants to make a show that is basically based off this. Go ahead.
Well, you were saying like there's one clip that you show people, or like, and after that they're hooked, or was that?
No,
the
that was
show?
Tito that said that.
Okay.
Yeah, Tito must have told you that. Tito's really into one of the punishments. The things if whoever loses, they don't do the thing, or they don't get enough points, or whatever it is. At the end of the show, one person gets punished and they have to do something really embarrassing. And the one that Tito talks about a lot is the two guys on the right had to open up for Imagine Dragons, and they don't know how to play music, and they're on stage. One of them's drumming, the other one's in the like front man, and he's singing about this song is about my grandma. Oh, fuck you, grandma. And they're like, oh, give it up for Imagination Dragons, and it's Imagine Dragons fan base, and they're all like, what? Like you didn't? You're opening up. They were awful. They like one of them tries to do the worm on stage. It's like wholly embarrassing. The bits and things that they do are like really well done. You really fall in love with like each personality and like the type of things that they will and will not do, and they really fuck with that. I know it sounds like a joke. The word has the word joke in it, the title of the show, but it is just really well done. And that's one of the reasons it's on for like its 8th or 9th season.
Yeah.
True TV only exists because Impractical Jokers.
I keep hearing more and more about this. Henry Zabrowski of Last Podcast on the Left mentioned it in an episode like last week or something.
Yeah,
Like, I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, again, it's just pure bliss when I watch it. And then maybe the worst that I watched this year was Final Fantasy XIV: Dad of Light, this Netflix Japanese show. We talked about it. Remember, we were talking about it when it was going to come out, and then I ended up watching it, and I thought it was kind of okay. And like upon I think I may have watched just the first 2, and upon reflection, it's just like, it's not good. It didn't go anywhere. It's very slow. There's no personality.
Is it about the dad discovering video games, trying to bond with his kid? I'm just
Kind of the other way around, actually. The way the show starts off is this kid in the background is very young. He's like 10, the pilot, and him and the dad connect through video games.
Okay.
They remember when the very first Final Fantasy comes out for like a Famicom or something, which I didn't know it did. But that's what
the
they showed.
Nintendo, yeah.
And then it jumps very quickly, like 10 minutes in. 15 years later, this kid's like a young adult now. They still live in the house together. They have no relationship now. And so this kid's trying to reconnect with his father through the video game, but the dad doesn't know that his in-game friend is his son. And so I honestly think like the premise is kind of fun, and it could have gone somewhere, but it's just the characters they kind of blow. So that's that. That was my worst and best of 2017. What is kind of cool though that Jessica and I are noticing is that and the world is noticing is that Netflix is doing a lot of releases outside of the U.S. And like one of our new favorites, Dark, which is in German, is a testament to that. That there are some good things coming out of that. There's a lot of Korean shows I've noticed too, and I've watched a little bit of it.
Yeah.
I didn't love it, but it's also very different, culturally different television. But anyways,
Korean dramas are like a big
Korean,
genre unto themselves.
Korean
Yeah.
dramas
People get
are.
really
I was watching
movies.
the Korean comedies and
Yeah, the crime dramas, like the Korean movies, are excellent.
yeah, we're super into that. I know you like some Korean film.
Yeah. I'm talking more like Korean, like kind of soap
like
operas.
soap opera. Yeah, my friend's really into Korean.
Yeah,
soap
like
operas.
people get really. I've tried to watch one and it was good.
I don't even like regular soap operas. Why would I like Korean?
I don't know.
Anyways, in light of this, if we can go to the next slide, Bon, my to required viewing to end the year out is to watch some Practical Jokers.
Got to change that font. Or
That-
it just looks, I can't take
It
it
looks
seriously.
cheesy.
Well, it's not
Yeah.
supposed to though, right?
But
It's
it's
not
cheesy.
a drama.
It's a cheesy
not
show,
It's
It looks like something my dad would like.
Yeah,
Maybe.
Really love.
I think
Maybe.
everyone can enjoy it.
Okay.
You know who else is a
In their own way.
huge fan of this show? Phil, who is also in your
God, I
your
hate that
comedy
guy.
group. If I get it. And
Right.
So
I mean, it's still
any-
technically reality TV, which
Is there
I
a-
guess is
Yeah.
we are the
The
screen
episodes
source.
are really short, so you'll be happy about that. They're like 20
well,
minutes.
and
Is
again,
it on
like Nathan for You, which you and I really love. That's kind of a reality.
Sure,
I mean,
sure,
it can be
sure,
done
sure.
well, and I think this is one of the shows that does it.
All right.
So what do we watch?
Anything.
So that's the
Is
thing.
there a
is
playlist you want us to?
I can put some together if you'd like. Otherwise, on YouTube, they upload all of their stuff to YouTube as like these little clips, like 4-minute or 2 to 3 minute clips of like these bits that they do in the show. And so just start watching it. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
short.
I will
very
watch
short.
this, but can I also encourage everybody to let's try to go see
Oh wait,
it,
wait,
like,
wait. Hold on. Let's go to the optional required viewing. Is that what you're getting at?
See.
Nope. Optional
last
required view
week's.
is the next
optional.
slide. Can you skip to the next one? There you go.
Shop.
That was
Okay.
from
Scott suggested
Scott's
this.
suggestion.
Yeah, happy holidays, everybody. Let's watch the shittiest thing.
Come out of the Star Wars franchise.
Yeah, so this came out right after the first movies. This is late 70s.
Episode 4.
Episode 4
Okay.
came out. It was a huge hit, but they didn't know if it was going to continue to be a juggernaut. So they were doing as much as they could with this before they thought, okay, this might go away. Everyone was on board with this. Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, the Chewbacca guy. I can't think of his name.
Chewbacca's.
Well, okay.
Chewbacca?
So the story is that Han Solo is trying to get Chewbacca home to his planet of Kashyyyk for Life Day, which is a made-up.
It's everywhere.
It is a made-up Wookiee holiday, and they came out for it on the holidays. I bought a bootleg DVD of this years ago. The best part about this actually is that it's off of TV, so you get to see old like 70s TV commercials. That it's kind of a little bonus thing.
Because in the bootleg, obviously.
Right, yeah, because it was only on television.
Yeah.
It was this TV special. B. Arthur is the barmaid. Yeah, B. Arthur.
Does she play a large role? Because that's
She has a
gonna
part.
Influence.
She has a she has a part.
She's got 8 parts.
She is the bar maiden at the
I mean, she's
bar
featured
in
rather
Mos
prominently.
Eisley, and she sings a song.
Okay, I'm in.
Jefferson Starship sings a song for
What?
whatever reason.
Seriously?
It is
Names back then were weirder.
it is bonkers.
band
It's just so weird. There's a great clip of Conan O'Brien bringing it up to Harrison Ford in an interview,
Yes.
and Harrison Ford just like deadpans, like we're going to talk about that. Like George Lucas has famously said he wants to destroy every copy of this, but it's
Wow.
on the internet now. And
Sweet.
Yeah.
Maybe I will watch that. Yeah.
I think it's long.
Oh.
Yeah, you will probably bow out because you tend
It's
to do
hard
that.
to watch bad things. Sometimes that's hard.
But skip around. There's a lot of weird shit to it. Carrie Fisher sings a song at the end, which is in the, I think it's in the tone of the Star Wars theme.
No.
And it's a Life Day carol. It is batshit insane.
Holy crap.
Watch it just for the historic.
Just for shits and giggles.
There's also the Star Wars Christmas album. Has anybody heard of this?
I've heard.
No.
I've never
Was
heard it though.
my family will listen to it every year.
Are you serious?
Is this
This is why you
the
hate
source
Star Wars?
of
Are we?
your hatred of
That's
Star
all he knows of Star Wars is the Christmas
Thing
album.
that I know, and it's wonderful.
He loves it.
It has a young John Bon Jovi before he was because his uncle produced it. What? And he was not John Bon Jovi. He was Johnny Bon Jovi. And
These things.
there's
true
such a thing as like,
Italian
what do you
names.
get for Wookiee for Christmas? There's a song where C-3PO tries to teach R2-D2 how to sing.
I am.
And
I'm
it's,
beside
and
myself.
It's, like, it's really good. Like seriously, it is. I mean, it's really bad, but it's like really like good because it's so bad.
So I can get this on like a record.
Yeah,
it on
I can also. I
Spotify?
have it. I can give you. I can Dropbox it to people.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my
It'll be on
God.
there probably. Like seriously, like
That's.
it's really cheesy Christmas music. Play it when
I
you're
love
making
it.
Christmas cookies. You'll have a good time.
I love it.
There's also
Like a
like 8
blast.
endings. Like the last song, like you keep keeps ending, and it's like there's like explosions, and then like, and you're like good. And it's like then like keeps ending. Anyway.
So did you have a second optional viewing?
I was just gonna. The optional viewing is like maybe we should try to see as many of the. It is Oscar season or
Yeah,
that
let's do that.
holiday movie season. So like maybe when we come back in January, we'll
Really
have
hit those hard.
A trove of good movies to
Sure.
discuss. with
Yeah, that's
each
the hard
other.
thing about picking your best of the year when so many of
Yes.
those movies haven't come out
December.
here yet.
That's
anyway.
true. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because I'm excited for a lot of the movies that are coming.
That's a good call. Let's
Coming
watch
by
Do
your
a
this.
name.
recap of the best of the year.
Right.
At the beginning of next year.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure. And then when the Oscars
Sounds
come
good.
around, we
The recap again.
recap again, and we'll know what we're talking about.
Recap a kappa.
Yeah, I always try to see as many of the best picture nominees as possible.
Mhm.
I think I saw
Specifically, picture.
all of them last year. Yeah.
And I
Cool.
should start as a member of the SAG Screen Actors Guild. I get mailed.
Oh, well, then you get this.
Get the potato.
I can host viewings at my house.
Oh dear God.
Oh, you also have a copy of.
I don't have it.
Oh, okay.
I know somebody who does have it.
Okay.
I love you. I love you, Daddy.
Daddy. Mhm.
I love you,
One of
man.
the only
I love you,
copies.
Daddy's.
Nice.
Which apparently Louis is buying the rights back.
Yes, I
so
just
he
heard
can
about
do
that.
whatever he wants
He's
with
trying
it.
to buy the movie back.
Wow.
Maybe
Yeah.
put it on his website.
Let's
or
go
whatever.
backwards and slide now and talk about the most recent required viewing
We
from
can keep this
Kevin.
brief.
Yeah,
We've
let's do that.
Gone on a little while. Godless. It's a fun time. I've seen. I saw the first 3 episodes. I think
Oh, okay.
Okay.
3 or 4, and I mean I enjoy it.
You gonna finish it?
I will. It's not high on my priority list to finish it. It's a western, so it's like a little bit like
Slow.
slow moving, like not like
Methodical.
high emotions. Everyone's just sort of like,
Yeah.
well, life
Stoic.
sucks.
Well,
and
well.
that's
Life's-
how it goes
Ah.
out here. You know.
I reckon the frost is going to be coming in any minute now. We'll just wait for that to happen and the crops to die.
30 minutes later.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit slow moving. I really like Merritt Weaver. I think she's the best part of it.
The mayor?
No, she's the sheriff's sister.
Right. I thought
Is
she
she
was the
mayor
like
now?
Gunslinger,
Oh.
kind of.
I thought
Yeah.
for some reason, or her husband was the mayor. I don't.
She's like a high-ranking member in this town,
No, I thought
in
she
which
was
all the
great.
men,
Yeah.
most of the men have died.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it looks like it's going somewhere interesting. I will eventually finish it. It's just
Did I? Because I watched the first 2 episodes. Did I? I don't think I know what happened to the men. Was there like a silver mine
Yes.
accident?
They have
Okay.
yeah, there's a mine in
Okay.
town, and there was a collapse.
Right.
I just got to the episode where they finally like flashed back to that.
Okay. Because they talk about it a little in the second episode when they have that dinner.
Yeah.
with
They even
the-
talk
with
about it in the first episode. They
Okay.
point out a picture at the wall. The bartender does, and it says "freak accident."
Yeah.
78 men or something.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Did you all notice that the girl who is in the first episode is the girl from the box that hands
Yeah.
out tickets?
Yeah.
What's her name?
It's Kelsey's girlfriend.
Kelsey's
Yeah, I don't know
The
her
one
name.
who was singing and then
Yep.
found it?
That's her.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah.
The one
Haley.
that she had a
Getting
very
raped.
Her name is Haley.
yeah, rape
Haley,
scene.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but that was her. Isn't that
I was
cool?
like, that is
Yeah.
her.
Yeah.
So
She's the
so
sole survivor of this.
yeah. So our
She's a really pretty
Our
voice.
friend of a
singing
friend.
voice.
People who are in that.
Cool.
that was a very
I
significant
recognized
part.
a couple
The girl
faces.
who tries to shoot him and she's like naked.
Oh yeah.
I know her.
Haven't seen that yet.
Okay. Yeah.
Cool.
Is it weird now you've seen your friend naked?
You've seen all your friends naked,
Yes.
right? You're an actor, right? You see all that shit.
Yeah.
I will say that Jessica and I watched it, and I think we felt similar. I didn't love the first. I only watched the first episode. Didn't love it. It was definitely slow.
Tired viewing, Dylan.
He
Well, no,
watched it all the way
He
through.
said one.
He
say
watched
what?
Like one, if you feel like
okay.
it, go on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I watched
And-
the first two.
And yeah, we were kind of like, well, we wanted to pick me up, so we were like, let's try out this dark show, and like now I can't.
You want to pick me up? So
So we watched Dark.
Dark.
gosh.
Oh,
is
13
really
Reasons
dark.
Why. Let's watch this.
That's exactly what happened.
This show
actually.
about people like in
Oh.
whole town dying. Let's put on a
Oh, I also
something chipper. Dark.
I
It
also
was
forgot to mention
super
that Dark is
intense
also a
and
lot
great,
like
though.
Hannibal. It reminds me a lot of Hannibal.
Everything reminds you of Hannibal, though. What else reminded you of Hannibal?
Yeah, it's true.
I don't know. Well, did it
Land
remind you? It
Before
reminded you of
A
Time.
little bit,
Yeah.
yeah.
The
It's
music
really
is
good. It's
very
really well done.
tonally.
but
It's like Hannibal.
I liked Godless. I think I agree though that it was slow moving, and
Yeah.
I wanted it to be a little bit quicker.
By the
was okay.
end of the second episode, I was getting more engaged.
Yeah,
I
it picks
feel
up a
it
little
does
bit.
pick up. I'm as a rule. I don't know. As a rule, I don't know why I said that. I've never really been into westerns.
Yeah.
So the pacing is really hard for me to get into. But I like Jeff Daniels. I like the cast so far.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think I might watch maybe a couple more episodes. See what
Yeah.
happens.
Watch True Grit, the new True Grit, and then also watch 310 to Yuma.
The assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert.
I want to watch
My
that one. I
favorite
haven't
Western
seen
is
that.
Rio Bravo.
Huh.
With,
that's a classic.
with John Wayne.
Yeah.
Dean Martin.
Oh wow.
Andrew Dickinson.
Don't watch
I
the
bet my dad has
Cassidy
it. He's all
Kid
into that stuff.
Sundance thing. Don't watch that.
I do like that one.
I don't like
That's
that.
a great
I
movie.
like that one.
I like that a lot.
That was like the end of like westerns, right? Like
Yeah.
it's supposed to like mark the transition, like the end of the old west.
Didn't know
Because
that.
they like lose their horses and then they like get a bicycle. There's
Yeah.
like a bicycle at some point.
Yeah,
What?
yeah.
I don't remember that part.
Yeah.
Yeah,
don't
the
remember that?
raindrops keep falling
Falling
on my head. That's how
It's
that was a
Burt
big scene.
Bacharach,
Yeah,
And they're like he's like has her on the
Yeah.
yeah.
no.
I thought for Godless, I think it wasn't bad by any means. I thought it was a good. I was expecting it to be more good.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. That's
I
what I
think
felt.
that's when I came in and I was like, it felt like a little syrupy in that first episode. Like there was a lot of syrup and not enough pancake.
Yep.
I'm not entirely sure.
I
I feel the opposite. There's too much pancake and not enough syrup.
not enough syrup.
Was
Just
too-
like a lot of
want
like
more
really
syrup.
like
Too dry.
slow like it felt like they were really leaning into like a lot of stuff, but like I just didn't feel like there was enough structure there yet to kind of like support what they were leaning into.
I
And
get
maybe
it.
they're getting there now, but
It's a
like
good
Jeff
analogy.
Daniels' character was just kind of like really like I'm weird, blah, yeah. And then I was like, what, like I don't know you, and then there's a lot of like
You don't know
telling
me.
You don't know me.
and there's a lot of like telling us like what happened without like
My
showing,
man.
like a lot of like
Yeah.
long things of like, well,
Like her backstory,
Yeah,
and
and
like,
you're just
well,
like-
I came here in my yellow dress, and then and it's like,
That was a big.
he didn't ask for all
monologue.
that. He just asked like, is your family from here? Or
That's
something?
for the
Well,
news, not the
story.
weather.
I did
But-
not like that exposition.
I think
I didn't
like
either. It
Yeah.
really like stuck out. That's
And-
But by
I-
the end of the second episode, I think I found myself being like, okay, like I can watch this now that I know what this is, and I know that this isn't going to be the best thing on TV this year. I can
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
enjoy it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, having watched Deadwood, if anybody has anybody watched Deadwood?
I've seen
No, but I hear it's
some of it.
amazing.
I've heard good things
It's
about
like
it.
the like yeah. I
Pinnacle.
always rank like all like television westerns like
Against
to
that.
Deadwood, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Until I watched that, I rated it against Firefly.
Okay, yeah, sure. Firefly's much better.
Because it's like spaceships and pew pew pew. I love it.
This is like again, it's,
a
I thought
Western.
it was good. I thought
It is a western.
I think you said like you gave it like a 7.5.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
that's what I would give.
I think
That's what I would
fair.
give it to.
Yeah.
you know.
It's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
I like the
Yeah.
concept a
It's
lot.
not a failing score.
This day and age, though, with like so much great television, it's
Hard to be a
7.5.
7.5.
Yeah, you can't really you have to prioritize like the high,
Right.
like the
Exactly.
Yeah.
excellent
Right.
stuff.
I
not the-
that is an amazing problem to have.
Right?
Right, we're very lucky
fortunate, yeah.
that we have so much media
Yep.
at our beck and call. Like we can pull up the greatest films
Yeah.
or television just
On your
on
phone.
this device.
I also wanted to bring up. I thought this was interesting. Did you feel like the marketing for this, the recent marketing at least, was trying to piggyback off of all of the recent happenings with the Me Too movement and
Sure.
all of these?
Sure.
Because it seems
Makes a
like
lot
the
of
marketing
sense.
was all very much like, this is a story about a town of women who like...
Yeah.
And I was expecting that
That's
Yeah.
what
to
I
be
was
the
too.
focus, and it ended up being
Like, there's a lot
and
of
I-
fucking men in this.
Yeah, I was like, for like all the men being dead, they
Yeah.
sure do get a lot of screen time.
There's a lot of men. Yeah.
And I read a review on the
True.
AV Club of like the last episode, and like apparently I don't want to spoil.
You
it
read a
for
review
but-
of the last episode?
Yeah, I wanted to see like what the like consensus was because I was having this feeling, and they brought it up that it was like they seemed to not know what like that like what gold they were sitting on, like, and it seemed like the marketing team was taking it and being like, oh, this is a show about like these women, but apparently in the last episode it's like not
A little
it's, like, very
disingenuous.
much like
Yeah.
about the men of the show.
It's
They're the
hashtag Me
heroes.
Too? Question mark.
And,
Maybe
yeah,
me too.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't like
That's
that.
kind of BS. Yeah.
Hashtag what about men?
And
That's
it's
the-
because most of the people behind
Men's
the scenes
rights
are
activists.
men. It's produced by Steven Soderbergh, right?
Yeah, he's
And I think most, if not all, the episodes are written and directed by a man. I forget his name. And that's like the difference, like something that I've talked about a lot on Screen Source is when you're going to go to like historical places where women were, you know, oppressed and there's a lot of sexism and stuff, it really matters who's telling the story. And so something like Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, which is again another very sexist and racist time in our history, the fact that it is a woman telling the story or women behind the scenes and it's centered on its female characters makes such a huge difference.
They're doing that a little bit in Westworld, right?
I hope so.
With these kind of strong female characters
Yeah.
in this Western.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
it's just I think we want to get like the creators and the people behind the scenes like as well as the people who are on screen.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
You were so far off that mic.
Brah,
Hey,
brah.
come on in. All right, so I think we're in our. We have a game and then we have some trailers. We're gonna have to really slim down on these trailers.
Cool.
Sure.
Yeah. What time is it?
Yeah, we're nearing on 5 o'clock. So last Christmas movie standing. A holiday movie is what we meant. No, these are probably all Christmas.
they're all Christmas.
They're
movies.
all-
all Christmas
Yeah.
related.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. So Jessica and I compiled
Christians
this.
won.
This was hard because there's actually a lot of
There's a
really
lot.
Louis bit, isn't it?
What?
A Louis
Louis K bit.
from his last special. You're talking about how Christians,
Oh, yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
hey,
yeah.
Christians, you won. Congrats.
Yeah.
Dang it! I hate that I can't enjoy that. Anyway, back to the topic at hand.
Hey, Louis a good stand-up. Anyways,
Who's gonna go first?
Yeah, who's gonna go first?
I'll go first. I went last.
We
Last
kind of we
time.
don't have Bond's mic or anything connected. Hey, actually,
hello.
Zach, can we get you out here?
Zach.
Our friend
We
Zach
don't
just walked in.
We don't need anybody.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry, never mind. Go back.
Get out.
I keep thinking we have 4 people.
Also one of my favorite
All right,
movies
all
of
right,
this
take
year.
a
Get
shot.
out.
So and let me just reiterate the premise of this game is each of us will eliminate one. There will be one left, and that is the last Christmas movie standing.
I think I hate almost all of these movies.
Is that
Wow.
true?
Yeah. I don't know.
Yikes.
I don't have any
Allegiance.
My
or-
dad really likes It's a Wonderful Life, and if you've ever sit down to watch that movie recently, it's long.
It's a very long.
long.
It's a long movie.
And like Christmas is only like the last like 30 minutes.
Yeah,
of it.
Right.
The rest
Right,
of
it's not
Everything
about
that you remember
Christmas.
about
yeah.
that movie, about like him dying and then like the angel thing coming, is like that's like 2/3 of the movie.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's long.
yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh.
I also, yeah, I don't know. I don't like. I'm gonna get rid of A Christmas Story because I've seen it too much.
Okay, you're over it.
Yeah.
Over it, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the one I've seen the least.
My mom
yeah.
actually did get her tongue stuck to ice when she was a kid and pulled it off and had
It's a
the
trigger
top,
for her.
the top layer of her tongue came off and she had to go to the hospital.
Wow.
Why'd she do
So
that?
dumb because she was dumb when she was a kid.
Kids are dumb.
Or kids are
Yeah,
dumb.
kids are dumb. Yeah,
Uh,
wanna take a stab?
Sure. The Santa Claus.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Ah,
That would have.
I mean, I remember enjoying it as a kid, but come on.
Yeah, it doesn't
I get it.
stand
It
up to
still
the rest
sticks
of
with
it.
I still like it.
yeah, it's still one of my.
It was a great
maybe
idea.
my
I think it was a great idea for a movie. But yeah, I could really leave it.
I always I thought it was funny too. The Santa Claus and the elf have a very similar picture.
Stance, yeah.
Yeah.
Activate that frame.
Power stance. Gotta have the.
Okay, so who's going next? I would, but I haven't seen A Miracle
Go
on
ahead.
34th
Go ahead,
Street.
Kevin.
Yeah, I've only seen the remake of Miracle on 34th Street, and it was not.
So you're the only one that's actually seen it?
Wow, yeah.
So
it's so good.
It's Santa Claus.
It's so much better than the
I actually really don't. He goes to trial.
Yes.
For like.
Wait, what?
He like assaults someone.
Yeah, Santa Claus goes to
Wait, what?
court.
Is this
Yep.
real?
Yeah, and the girl
Did you know that?
like testifies. And he's the real
the
Kris
O.J.
Kringle.
Simpson's,
He's not just a mall
it's like
Santa.
a Roy Moore story, but with Santa Claus.
Yeah. People versus.
It was
very topical.
like, for its time, like very bold.
young
to be-
Natalie Wood.
Yeah.
I mean,
How weird. Well, I feel like since you've seen
I've
all
seen
of
the
them-
remake, so I know the premise.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Sure.
One of you two go.
go ahead,
Okay, I would. That's the one I would get rid of out of
Miracle.
these remaining ones. Miracle on 34th Street.
Okay.
I'm gonna go next, then I'll let you choose
Okay,
last.
sure.
So it's between Home Alone and Elf.
And
Yep.
And Wonderful Life.
Oh, and It's a Wonderful Life. I haven't seen that either, though. I can't.
rid of
Okay,
it.
so just get rid of it then.
Okay, fine. I get rid of It's a Wonderful Life.
Okay.
Sorry. Sorry.
So I'm getting rid of
it's
Home
also a
Alone.
40s film. It's tough.
I'm getting rid of Home Alone because I love Elf.
Good
Wrong.
choice. I
Wow,
think. I mean,
yeah.
I love Home Alone.
Home Alone's the
Home
one.
Alone's really
Yeah.
good, but
Elf.
Elf is
Joe
Elf
Pesci.
is solid.
Love
Elf is
Elf,
solid.
Elf is really well done.
They're both good.
It's like the only
Yeah.
classic Christmas movie to come out in like the past like.
Yeah.
20
Yeah, I
years.
agree.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like Home Alone is like, yeah, I don't know.
That's my second choice.
Yeah, that
Home
they
Alone.
would have been my top two for sure.
okay. So we landed
I
on some
blame
good ones.
Elf for bringing Baby It's Cold Outside back into popular culture.
Oh, that's true.
I do love that scene.
I didn't
though.
love
as
that
much
scene.
as I
Great
hate
scene,
that
It's a
but
great
song.
now
scene,
that
but that's such a-
song is now everywhere.
Yeah.
I can't avoid
It's a
it.
creepy ass
Is
song.
it her singing it too?
No,
She's
it's
in-
just like
yeah.
everybody
Okay.
has done
Yeah.
some recording of it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
Uh-huh.
I'm releasing my album with
Yeah.
my single.
I thought that scene was a little bit
Harvey
forced,
Weinstein released
honestly.
his version of it on the
Go ahead, Bond.
NYPD.
I would just like to clarify that that song is not creepy.
It's
is-
rapey.
No.
It's rapey.
So there is a clarification on about when that song was written, and it's about the girl actually wanting to stay over and giving reasons for her to stay. Like she's like fake. It's a weird thing. It's a
Is this
So
your
you're
justification for being
Blaming
It's
the victim.
no. It's like it's the woman who wrote the song. Whatever. There's like a whole thing about how they wrote it. In that time, it's her taking. It's a weird thing, but it's not as creepy as most people.
So
think
she
it
has
is.
more autonomy than we think.
Yeah.
Okay. What would your
Majority
last
autonomy.
choice have been?
My last choice to stay up, probably Home Alone.
Home Alone? Yeah. Okay. I think we can all agree that you made the wrong decision.
And it's men versus one woman.
Hey, you got it.
Hey, that's the color circuit way.
And Elf isn't bad. Elf is great.
Elf is solid. Yeah, I love that.
Elf
movie.
is,
Elf
I
is
think
great.
Home Alone is definitely more of a boy movie though, because it's like
Yeah,
all like
that's true. We could all relate to him.
slapstick
It's
and
a
people getting hurt the whole
violent,
time and
yeah.
like
Yeah.
We all wanted to be little MacGyvers.
Yeah, and
you know.
this kid actually
But
did
it does
it.
have like some
man.
really nice like scene, like when he goes to the church at the
Yeah.
end,
And he meets
old
the
guy's
neighbor.
there.
So
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
can't
It's
see his
good.
granddaughter,
It's
him
good.
and his son are
Merry
fighting.
Christmas,
Die
you
Hard
filthy
for
animals.
kids.
We would
Die
have
Hard
that.
for Kids. That's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep, we wouldn't
Now
have that
I have a
expression,
gun. Ho
And I
ho
wouldn't
ho.
have my name
right?
if not for Home Alone.
He was named after Kevin.
I will say I did watch last night. Actually, they had the Christmas specials. They had Rudolph and Frosty.
Oh, I like those.
Is that why you sent me that GIF? Okay, I was like, what are you doing? Why'd you send me that? I didn't know what to say.
No.
Misfit, the island of misfit toys.
Yeah, there's the
oh,
island of
so
misfit
cute.
toys.
I
This was
love
hard
because
because we were gonna put on what other ones were we gonna put on?
I
this
don't
list?
remember.
I would have
Here,
thought
I
like
wanna
Charlie
say,
Brown Christmas.
That's one we were.
The men in Rudolph,
Hate that.
the male like authority figures in that movie. Go back and watch. They are so mean.
Yeah, they are.
Like Santa like walks in and like sees Rudolph
Yeah,
and he's
so
like,
he's the one that
Donner,
tells them to-
yeah, what a disappointment,
Yeah.
and then like leaves. And like Rudolph's like the best flyer, but then his like nose comes out and he's like, I can't believe this. You had so much potential.
with your red nose.
Yeah, we didn't put Muppet Christmas Carol in here, which
Yeah,
I
we were gonna do
love.
that.
So
I
That would
will.
have been my fave.
Since I have a platform for this, Muppet Family Christmas. It was a TV special. It involves Muppets, Sesame Street Muppets, the
Dang.
I
Fraggles.
think I know what you're talking
didn't know
about.
this.
yeah.
They all go to Fozzie's mom's for the holidays. Everybody's fucking there.
I want to go to
I have so
Everybody's
many.
fucking there. Everybody's just in the scene
just a
fucking.
puppet orgy.
Why would they?
Stop, we don't need to
Giant
see-
puppet orgy.
Everybody's fucking there.
I'm taking it.
It is
Oh yeah, Fozzie. Oh Fozzie, I love your mama. Oh,
Oh no!
oh God, they're stuck.
Stop taking advantage of my pork.
Anyway, it is difficult to find. I have a DVD of it, but it is so good. It is better than Muppet Christmas Carol.
Damn.
It
I don't
is.
even love Muppet
It is
Christmas Carol.
a
love-
great hour TV special that was very briefly on.
Sounds like
but
fun.
Yeah,
It's great. It's funny. It's some of the best Muppet stuff
I love
I've
the
seen.
Muppets.
You know what I watched at my grandma's death day was the Grinch. My uncle left the Grinch on. It was just like ABC or whatever.
The
They were just showing-
cartoon or the Jim Carrey one?
the Jim Carrey one.
I never
and
saw it.
I had memories of it being good in my
I
head.
remember wanting to watch
It is
No, it's
not
bad. Not
good.
right.
It's very bad.
I never
Yeah.
saw it.
Even like the artistic,
like the Jim Carrey version of the Grinch.
even the artistic direction of it was so
Yeah.
weird.
My mom doesn't like Jim
uncomfortable.
Carrey. She
Yeah.
doesn't think
Ron
he's funny.
Howard.
Yeah, my mom.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ron
not
Howard
know
directed
They're
it.
a little
Yeah.
too uptight.
I think like
I will say it has a
sometimes
lot of personality,
bad
though.
directors
Like,
are
they
just
gotta
like,
take-
let's
remove
more
the stick.
color.
just
Just a little, make it colorful, and that means I'm because it was supposed to be Tim
the guy in
Burton.
the red hat looks
Okay.
like he does.
Interesting.
It kind of does feel a little.
I
Oh,
think he might
thank
have
you.
been
I am a
little
plebe.
attached.
I
Okay,
have
no,
a
I don't think
At
so.
some point.
allergies.
Yeah, and then he
All right,
dropped
we have
out.
some
of Ron
conversations,
Howard.
guys.
Okay. Anyway.
Sorry, I'm responding to the accusation that I do cocaine.
Is that what was happening over there?
The guy in the red hat looks
I
like he
did.
does
Okay, to be
cocaine.
fair, I have been like messing with my nose a lot, and I did go to the bathroom in the middle of this. I have allergies.
So the
I put on makeup before this, or else I would have looked the same. So
We're all in crack here on Color Circuit.
but thanks for watching so closely.
that's an astute view. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right, and lastly, we're gonna do some trailers. There's way too many, so we're gonna have to be a little bit picky when we go through these. So let's cut to that, Mr. Bone. What do we
The
have?
guy in the white sells the guy in the red hat cocaine. That's you,
That's
Dylan.
me. Oh, I forgot to mention too my Impractical Jokers T-shirt with all the big
My
famous
gosh.
quotes and sayings from the show. It's hard to see. Anyways, what's this first one? Wormwood. How long is it? 2 minutes and 44 seconds. Let's cut it out. For those of you that don't know, Wormwood is no, we're cutting it out, Vaughn. Cutting it out. Thank you. Wormwood is a Netflix original about the government in the 70s getting people to do LSD and stuff, like using them as and it's supposed to be really weird. I think it's a film. I don't remember, but anyways, give it a watch.
Cool.
You Were Never Really Here trailer. How long is that guy? 2 minutes or something? We watching that, guys?
What is it?
It's oh yeah, let's watch it. Joaquin Phoenix, I believe.
All right.
cool.
Yeah,
Is this
it-
a sequel to I'm Not?
I was never really here.
I'm gonna ask you some questions. How many are there? One guy inside the front door, second guy on the top floor.
After the tone, please leave a message.
It's done. Man called. Man wants to see you right away.
State Senator Albert Vato. His teenage daughter's missing.
What's the lead?
He got an anonymous text with an address.
I've heard of these places. They said you were brutal. I can be. I want you to hurt them.
Who is it?
Get up, can you
How
hear
is
me?
this?
My name is Joe. It's okay, come here. Close your eyes.
Where are we going?
Taking you to your dad.
You got the wrong expression.
13 Sergeant 1 Central. You got him. Pick up the phone. What is going on?
The cops are involved.
Where is she?
It is pretty.
Don't worry. I'll get her.
It's okay, Joe. It's okay.
competing for
I am a
next year's
creepy.
best of holiday movie.
I am a plebe.
line.
It's Opera. We're not using Chrome because we have XSplit. It's a really heavy program, so it kind of takes over. And he thinks it's the 2017's Taken. No, I think it's what they said. It does look like Taxi Driver, kind of, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of
Deranged,
Joaquin.
The director Lynn Ramsey directed We Need to Talk About Kevin,
Oh, I love that movie.
which is a really crazy movie.
yeah.
I think she was also supposed to direct that Natalie
Yeah,
Portman movie.
I have a friend who used to be her personal assistant, and she was supposed to be
Jane
for
Got a
Jane Got a
Gun.
Gun,
And she
he
just
was like
never-
planning on coming here, and we were super excited, and then like day one, she just didn't show up.
Yeah.
Oh.
And they were like, "Nope, you're fired," and they found some other guy,
Wow.
and the movie is notoriously.
Like it wasn't very good, right?
Well, it was fine. It was just like plagued with problems.
Yeah.
From day one.
Huh.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's supposed to be great.
Also forgot to say, I want to hear what the woman has to say. Jess, the woman.
It looks
Who is this?
like really horrifying, and Joaquin Phoenix creeps me out. I think he's a great actor, but he's creepy, and I think he's a perfect person to play that role because he's just a creep. You know, like
Sure,
he just seems
yeah.
very. I don't know.
This is a little bit like his character in Master, the Master.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a little
I
bit
don't know.
like him in real life. He's just a creep. He's just a weirdo. You know.
Yeah, so I forgot to mention that we always do. Are you going to watch this? Are you going to
No.
rent it? Or are you going to skip it?
I'm interested in it.
I'll watch it.
Yeah.
I
I'm
want
gonna
to
watch
watch
it.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll watch.
I will watch.
You guys want to skip this Doctor Who Christmas special?
Yes.
Yeah.
Plug? Let's skip it. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, new animated series.
I don't
Yeah.
get it.
Okay,
Yeah.
skip.
That shit.
Skip it.
The Death of Stalin, a new IFC indie
Like a
film.
minute.
It's a minute. Yes. You want to give it a shot?
Sure.
Watch it.
Sure.
All right.
Having conquered Britain, the revolutionary The Death of Stalin makes its triumphant American arrival on March
I
9.
talk like this all the time.
Huge crowds gather in anticipation for the cinematic masterpiece. As excitement mounts, patriotic workers rush to rise up against the forces of movie mediocrity. She's doing her bit. Here's a certificate for tweeting about Death of Stalin 500 times. The people salute the comedy genius Armando Iannucci, beloved father of Veep and In the Loop. Spontaneous parades have closed streets nationwide in honor of Steve Buscemi, the champion of the people. Citizens of America, we need you to make movie-going great again. The Death of Stalin. Marching to victory, March 9.
Well, it's got Steve Buscemi.
No
I'm
idea
sold.
what that is.
Well, whatever it is, it's tongue in cheek, right?
I didn't know it was going to go that
No,
way.
I didn't either.
I thought it was serious, and I guess
Take
it's
that,
really
Mr. Hitler.
not.
Yeah.
I really liked Buscemi's role.
I like the
Yeah.
tone of it. That's
Yeah.
funny. Yeah.
I'm gonna say like Rent. It'll go in my queue.
Yeah.
I need to know more about what
Yeah,
the
what
hell
is
that
going
is
on?
before
Yeah.
I commit.
I'm gonna
one way.
wait. I don't know what it is.
All right, this next one's called Altered Carbon. Apparently, it is Netflix's. What did you call it?
Alfred Carlton.
Alfred Carlton. No, it is
the story of
Your-
President
your-
Alfred
Your
Carlton.
neighborhood-friendly butler.
Altered Carbon. I guess it's Netflix's response to what's the last biggest sci-fi television show? I don't
Netflix?
remember.
On Netflix, Stranger Things.
No, they're not responding to themselves. They're responding to
What
somebody
do you
else.
mean?
I can't remember. But anyways, Altered Carbon, new sci-fi. Let's watch the trailer.
Cool.
Centuries ago, mankind discovered a way to transfer consciousness into a new body, making death a mere inconvenience. Since then, we've been providing an unparalleled pedigree of human sleeves to only the most discerning clientele. Psychosec, live forever in the body you deserve.
The danger of living too many times. You forget to fear death.
looked a little
House
bit
of
like
Cards.
Helix, and when I grew up, I really liked the movie The Island. When I grew up, when I was growing up.
Blade Runner.
Yeah, Blade Runner vibes.
Imagery.
That looks interesting.
That was
It does.
I like
one
it.
of the actresses from Dollhouse, whose name I forget.
Oh.
Oh, I remember.
I forget
I'm
her
intrigued.
name, but
I don't know.
Yeah,
kind of a similar premise
Rent,
too.
I'll rent.
Yeah, really.
Probably wait and see.
I might watch that. Well, is it a television show or a movie? I don't remember.
Looks like it's a
Series?
series. Maybe?
Then I would watch the.
Pilot and
Check it
pilot
out.
for sure. Yeah, does look interesting.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go to our next one. This one, there's a lot of talk about this. It's called. I can't. It's hard to read. Alta Battle.
Angel.
Aaliyah Battle Angel.
Is this a movie or a video game?
It's a movie, but I think it is
CGI.
It might be CGI
Okay.
or
elements of it are CGI.
Yeah.
Eyes
So let's give this a look. I don't know anything about it other than I keep hearing about it.
Looks like those dolls I'm saving up to buy.
Well, look at you.
May your dreams bring you peace in the darkness. May you
This is just a body. It's not bad or good.
Whoa.
That part's up to you.
I had a hunch.
I don't mean
Ex
to be
machina.
rude. Am I supposed to know you?
Actually, we just met.
It's a harsh world. The strong prey on the weak down here.
Another Blade Runner.
Does it bother you that I'm not completely human? I'd give whatever
Well,
I
because
have
the leather
for you.
jacket.
I'd give you whatever I have. I'd give you my heart.
Alita, they will come for you.
Why?
I think you are someone very special.
You're right. It does look like a movie. Yeah. I think he thinks it's over.
I guess it's over.
That's all we get. Oh, there it is.
Alita Battle Angel.
Wow.
I don't like the name.
Yeah, it seems. I don't know. The name's not very good.
James Cameron.
Skip.
You skip.
I got a strong feeling about this. This was an anime that was very popular in the 90s.
Oh.
Also a manga.
Okay.
And,
Was it a manga
this is-
first and then anime?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
This has been getting a lot of flack because it's not a really good take, and some people think it's amazing. Other people, there's a lot of mixed reviews about it.
So like pre-reviews, like critical reviews. Okay, interesting. All right.
Yeah, it's an adaptation, so that's the.
Well, with that in mind, if critics are saying nah, don't watch it, then
Yeah.
I probably won't.
It
watch
looks like visually interesting, but
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't watch it.
It's definitely interesting. I thought it was interesting that they're going with the big eyes.
I mean,
Yeah.
it looks okay, but I don't really care.
Sure.
It just doesn't
Right.
seem like it's something that I'm gonna waste my time on. So.
All right. What do we got? War Games. Let's skip that. Hashtag War Games. I guess another smaller film is supposed to come out. 7 Days in Entebbe. In Entebbe? How do you say that, guys? Entebbe. This was on like a lot of lists of like what you should watch for the week. It's 2.5 minutes though. It's pretty long.
Should we call it? It's
Yeah, let's see if there's any more that were there. Is that the last one, Bon?
Black Mirror.
No. What else is left? We got Jurassic World and Black Mirror. Let's watch those last two.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you gotta go, you gotta go.
So, shall we check our expiry date? On 3, 2, 1, go. 12 hours.
Yeah, 12 hours.
Okay.
Bit,
Yeah.
bit short.
It is a bit short, isn't it?
I used to think that love
Must have been mental before the system. I mean, are we just meant to go at it?
Define go at it.
Fucking hell.
But then you
Always find your perfect match.
It really does work.
Another relationship.
Coach, is this a mistake?
Everything happens for a reason.
Neat.
Yeah.
I'm really confused, but
I don't know that they want you to know everything.
I trust them, so I'm watching it regardless.
You know what I really like is that they all have their own tones.
Mm-hmm.
Very different every episode.
That's kind of the joys of an anthology series. Like, throw it to different directors, different writers, do what you will.
Yeah, but even like most anthologies, at least the season's the same. You know, this it's like every episode's different. I love that about Black Mirror.
I love that about it too.
Yeah.
All right, last one.
Last one. This came out
Jurassic
a couple days ago. Jurassic World.
Interesting.
Fallen Kingdom.
Skip.
Probably.
Skip.
But
So, what are you dating, like an accountant now, or
Owen,
ventriloquist?
stop it.
You love a dummy.
This is not why we're here.
It's already reminding me of Guardians.
Yeah, that's definitely the better Chris
I know why
Pratt
we're here.
franchise.
A rescue op. Save the dinosaurs from an island that's about to explode. What could go wrong?
Blue is alive. You raised her.
Do these animals deserve the same protections given to other species? Or should they just be left to die?
These creatures were here before us. And if we're not careful, they're gonna be here after. You know me.
You don't know me.
There's always a bigger
Life cannot
fish.
be contained. Life breaks free.
What else does life do, Jeff?
Life
Yep.
finds a way.
He's back.
Heifers. Yeah.
It's like World War Z with dinosaurs. And balls.
Gotta have them balls.
They didn't show Goldblum.
They did.
Yeah.
Oh, they did. Oh, I missed
briefly,
it.
he was
Oh.
In court.
I must have
much like
blinked.
Santa Claus was in Miracle on 34th Street.
After he assaulted
In his voice, yeah.
hard skip.
For over the last 15 years, the highest-grossing opening weekend films: Fate of the Furious #1, Force Awakens #2, Jurassic World is #3.
They did very well,
Yeah.
and it was fun.
It did really
I
well.
mean,
it was okay. It was kind of bad, but I don't know. I always keep hoping that they're going to be okay. Just because Jurassic Park, the original movie, was so wonderful and I loved it, but I don't know.
I think
they're bad.
It was directed by Spielberg.
Spiels. Good old
Colin
Spiels.
Trevor
Right.
Right.
God, Colin Trevor. We
Your favorite
dodged a
director,
bullet
right?
with him not doing
Directing Star Wars.
episode 9 anymore.
Yeah.
God, he's terrible.
I thought dinosaurs had feathers. I thought we figured this out.
Yeah, no, that's
They do, Jason.
I think they're worried about him being less scary looking, right?
Right. But they can be just as scary, I
Yeah.
think. I think
Yeah.
you're right, Jason. They should
Anything
be
with
historically accurate about how they're doing this. I agree.
Last one of the year?
Ooh.
Dinosaurs have feathers.
Hot take.
Simple but sweet.
Did you get the potato? I think he should get the potato.
No, I don't want it.
When does
He's giving up the
I have
potato.
the potato
earned it.
closest to me now. So
Yeah, Scott, you earned it for knowing that was a doll.
when does Thanos show up? Says Streamhouse. I don't think he does in this movie, but if he did, it would look a little something like this. Get out of here, dinosaurs! Isn't he's like got a southern twang, right? Pretty sure.
yeah,
Josh
the
Brolin.
Space Lord
Yeah,
Thanos.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, All right, guys. Thank you. We're finishing. We're done with 2016. It's over.
Aww.
2017. God damn it.
We have been done with 2016 for about a year.
I was just making a statement about.
He does not know.
It's
about
what year
2006.
Still
We're done with 2006.
We're done with 2006. Yeah, still a correct statement. I want to thank all of you.
Have a great happy New Year.
Yeah.
Thanks, Todd.
Yeah, I don't like Todd.
Todd so much.
Todd,
You're
the
my new
best.
favorite friend.
We love you, Todd.
I hope to see you in the new year, Todd.
Hey, Todd, how do you feel about Will Smith?
Will Smith's the best.
Yeah, I love you, Joe. Yeah.
I think we learned a lot about ourselves today.
We did.
Yeah, we did.
We
Would
always
you like
do.
to do the honors of accepting the hot potato?
Wow.
Since it landed on you.
Yeah. You know, when I was growing up, my parents said, "You'll never earn a potato in your life." And I thought they were right, you know, and as the years went on, I never won a potato, but now today, Dad, Mom, this potato's mine.
It's his.
Woo!
It's his.
I won it.
You earned it.
Merry Christmas.
And happy Hanukkah and all the rest of that crap.
Happy Kwanzaa.
The first Christmas.
Happy secular Christmas, which is what we'll be doing.
Yeah, we'll be doing that.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Jess, for putting up with me and getting together every week and making sure that the show happens. The show goes on.
Yeah.
It's fun.
More to
Fun
come
times.
in the new year.
Tell me you're welcome.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
You're welcome,
Thank you.
Dylan.
Thanks.
We'll talk
Our
a better
overlord.
contract after the show.
Yep.
Yeah. Big meeting. after this.
Renegotiate.
Big meetings. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. I am Plebe. I'm a plebe. Please come back. The show will be back in the new year. Screen Source, not every Sunday at 3 p.m. MST on Twitch TV /Colors Live. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching.